Everybody, welcome back to another week of Choirs and Cups with Darkside 0895 and Affordable Dreams coming in to do a bit of a post-bidding wrap-up here for you coming into week one. How you doing today there, Dreams?
Doing great, man. Ready to get the season rolling. Pucks for the drop for the opening night. Opening drop of the face-offs. Everything that for season 11 coming up in the so everyone get ready for that and stay tuned for a great show.
Yeah, I think everyone's pretty excited for the season to start, and should be a fun one. But without further ado, because this is gonna be a bit of a longer one, guys, so hang in there. We're going to start off with the Brandon Wheat Kings for their post bid here and a little bit of talk about their team surrounding it. So we got Bail Money and Just Cause coming in as the owner GM tandem, both playing defense, and Top Shot Man, who they won in bidding for 500K, putting him as the AGM. I know Top Shot's been around Just Cause since I think season 6 with Flint Firebirds. So I know they're obviously pretty close. So picking up him is probably a smart idea. Looking at some of their guys, I mean, they recently traded for Coffee Lidstrom, who's a stud
That's a big
D-man.
trade.
Yeah, that's a good move for them, and getting him at 500K is a nice steal. Paying 5.25 for Tigers there looks a little bit iffy to me. I haven't played with him enough to make a full judgment on it, but it seems pricey for what I've seen out of him.
Looking at his numbers, definitely, I was back looking at it, it's a lot to pay for a guy that didn't have stellar numbers, but maybe they see something no one else saw.
Yeah, right, and scouting. So it's hard to say too, right?
It definitely
And
is.
then in net they got Sharp Shotter and Snowman, who are both pretty decent goalies. So they look to be well on their way. And Gumby rules, so shouldn't leave him out.
As I say, Gubby Blues with guys that I'll call out was a great pickup at 1.5. Definitely has proved himself throughout the season or two, season and a half where he's played. So it's a good pickup there, and locking down 2 season deals is probably a smart choice.
Yep, for sure. But yeah, moving on to the next one. Do you want to take care of the Calgary Hitmen there?
Coming to the Hitman, we have Stoner DC coming in as owner with King Morrow coming in as GM here. They put a lot of money on a big name player, Jay Hawkman 81, who's as we know ran the Mississauga Steelheads for forever, in my opinion. So I mean, putting big money there, hoping he can come bring a lift and maybe some management experience to help them build this team a little more. Could be a smart grab. I don't think he's put the points up though in the past couple seasons to be credited for. Sorry,
No,
Jay
no,
Hawk. Love you,
that's
man.
definitely a payment for letting him help. I mean, King Morrow and Stoner DCC ran this team last season and had a pretty rough go of it. So I mean, maybe not a bad decision to pull someone in who's had success, who's won a Mem Cup at this level, right? Could be a good choice. We'll see how it works out for them.
Definitely. Do you want to move us along over here to the Oil Kings?
Yeah, so returning for them, Card Shark, Brandon Duval, blooded as his GM, playing right D and using his AGM tag on a 2-season 500K player named Lucky. And a bunch of numbers that I'm not going to repeat.
Right.
So yeah, no, but yeah, so they've already kind of got their management set in place. They didn't have any crazy huge spends here. I think I'm seeing the highest price being tied between Epic Lovers and Blackhawks Hockey. Actually, Epic Lovers was already there. So Blackhawks Hockey was their big pickup in bidding, but really didn't spend a lot trying to build a more balanced team, which a lot of teams will agree is a good way to go. So
Definitely.
it should be interesting, see if they can have a bit better of a go. They struggled to start last season and then picked it up and managed to come back a little. So hopefully they can just skip that struggling part
Yeah,
and go.
they were out of that playoff bracket for a while there, and
Mm,
they dug themselves into a playoff spot. So I mean, so Pat says the back guys there, it was a great job last season, and looks to see you guys pick up where you left off last season.
yep, for sure.
Moving on, we got the Silver Tips here. As we all know, a big thing happened here during bidding is the owner got released, banned, capital offense. So stepping up was Bow Down, joining forces with Senko as the GM here. This team, relatively overall, defensively looks solid. The goaltenders look solid. But the biggest things I can note are the 2 big pickups at center. Uh, Probably, in my opinion, 2 of the biggest centers in the CHL bidding this season at Tom Morin and Murph Wizzle. 2 great grabs, but also spending 11, 12 million on the 2 guys.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm hoping I'm reading it right that they have that as well. Crimson, another great pickup as lefty at 4.25 million. So, I mean, that's 3 big money spenders right there they have. That they're going to be huge assets for this team.
Yeah, for sure. And again, they're looking to pretty much just use the big name players and insulate, you know, sort of like what Pittsburgh does with, lower talent wingers put with Crosby and Malkin to kind of make that work. Maybe that's their style, or maybe they just snuck a lot of good guys by us this season. But I didn't see too many guys go for cheap this year, if anyone knew who they were. So it
Right,
should be
exactly.
should be interesting. But I think the Silver Tips are going to have a pretty good season.
Definitely, definitely.
Moving on to the Kamloops Blazers, Venon's coming in for, I believe, his third or fourth season now.
He's been here since season 8 for sure, so it's definitely 3.
Yeah, yeah. So he's been here a while and bringing Cardinal Sin, who hasn't been management since season 9 with the Kansas City Mavericks. He's coming back into it playing left D. And they haven't made an AGM choice yet. Looking at their big price tag, again, another team that didn't spend never mind, scratch that. They did spend a lot of money. 5.5 on the Whitey right wing prospects. He had a pretty good season with Halifax, and obviously, you know, teams took notice. They were willing to spend good money on the guy, so they're hoping he can be that number one right winger and help carry that line. Yeah.
Big grab there in Skies too in goal,
Mm-hmm.
2.5. Definitely a good pickup and a really strong goalie. Not a decent salary for that kind of tandem goalie as well. So
Agreed.
moving on to the Rockets here. There's not a lot I'll say here, except for the big news, in my opinion, right now is they just made a big trade. They picked up Bogdan with $3 million and made a big trade, picking up Uncle Steel in that deal.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple others. I don't remember who the other guys were, but Uncle Steel was the big name coming in for them. Could be a smart move by them to take that deal. Tim aside himself, $500K locked to 2 seasons could be a huge pickup if he can get himself out of the funk he's had for like the last
Yeah.
2 seasons.
I've known the guy for a really long time. I think since season 7, I've known the guy, and I've played with him
When
quite a
this
bit.
guy is on, he's on. You better watch.
Yeah, and
If
that's
he
his
hits that
thing, right?
funk,
He's the kind of the Phil Kessel of the league. He can score when he wants to, but if he's not feeling motivated or something's off, it's hard to get him started again. So it should be interesting. But yeah, I mean, obviously the
definitely.
Rockets looking to have a better season after missing the playoffs in season 10.
Right. And by the way, we have Smooth coming in as own and
Yep,
DLC joining him as GM, and they locked in Eagles 2186 as AGM as well.
yeah, on a 2 season contract too. Yep.
Yes. Yeah. Moving on to the Kootenay Ice.
Yeah, so we had I hook on 3. Something like that. I shook on 3. And Nemesis. As you can tell, I have no idea who these guys are. Both prospect management coming in, and taking over the ice. Who had a bit of a rough go of it last season. Picking up some big names. Marner X16 spent some time on Andrew Carlisle's Huskies last season, and Mr. Gone Crazy was a big name coming into bidding at 3.75 million. So picking up 2 strong forwards with some big caps surrounding them. Picking up
It's Smooth ran Drug Car.
I'm sorry?
Smooth ran Drug Car as well. Smooth OP.
What about Smooth OP?
He ran Drug Car last season.
Yeah, okay. So.
Yeah. Just mention now.
Oh, okay.
Returning owner, right?
Fair
Playing
enough.
as a player now, right?
Yeah, fair enough. Oh, is he? Oh, he's on their team.
Yes.
Oh, I missed him. I'm like, why? Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I'm like, I'm not talking about him. Yeah, okay. Yeah, no. So him
okay.
him at 2.5
Pay
million.
attention, buddy.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Long day. Yeah, picking up some P, a former owner. So I mean, hopefully, if they can kind of work together, maybe some of his experience will help out. Drakkar did quite well last season, but they also picked up T-Bot, a pretty solid backup Tandy, and Dopey Stevens, who was my starter in season 9 prior to him having to quit the league. So hopefully, I mean, nothing happens there, but if these guys can both be there and be in it, they're both pretty solid goalies. So the Ice are looking strong on forward and goalie, definitely.
Definitely. Moving over to the Hurricanes here, we have King Slayer returning as owner with Slim Slazy coming in as GM playing that goalie spot. And we know for the past, Slim Slazy has been a solid goaltender. He's done his due diligence to help teams stay in games. Definitely a good choice to lock in at GM. Lock in as well in an AGM is Savage Kills with the big $3 million contract there, making sure he doesn't get called up on them.
Mm-hmm.
Probably a smart lock there as the guy is a stand-up defenseman.
Yep, for sure.
Besides that, I mean, the other big name player coming in here would be Riley, coming in lefty as well at 3.5 million. Another amateur there. We're going to see a lot of this year. A lot of amateurs coming in that are potential call-ups. It's summer season. We get this quite often. So it'd be interesting to see if some of these names in every team actually stay.
Yeah. Another guy, former owner. A lot of former owners getting picked up in bidding. Tone Carbone at 2 mil. Hi, Tone. I saw you in the chat, buddy. Coming in here, and it looks like the Hurricanes are looking to build defense first, which is not a bad strategy at all.
Usually the way you should build a team, in my opinion, is make sure you lock down and then make sure you have enough cap to build, 1 to 4 players that are actually able to put a puck in the net.
Well, I mean, you want 9, but yeah, like 1 that are going to be able to.
You want 9,
really
but I
do
mean,
it, yeah.
Definitely, we're not going to have cap pro. It's not going to work.
No, and that's where paying for defense can be a little dicey. But yeah, I mean, hopefully the Hurricanes can lock it down and get it going. So good luck to them this season.
Definitely. They want to move on to Tigers?
Yeah. So Medicine Hat coming in is JPZ as the owner. We got XT John as the GM, and they've decided to take the Reaper 1974 as their AGM, a prospect choice. So I'm guessing that they're close in some manner and feel as though he's going to be a good decision for them, opting to keep him protected as opposed to some of the other veterans and amateurs they have on the team. Um, in terms of price tag, these guys didn't spend any crazy money, but spent 4 mil on coming up clutch 0-0 lefty prospect. A good choice, maybe a little bit much on the money, but again, this season was a little crazy. Um,
It definitely was.
I mean, I spent my money. We spent our money. Like it was, we all went after our guys, right? But yeah, and noteworthy is that their goalie's immediately on IR. So let's see if they can battle through that real quick.
Definitely. I mean, the IR to start the season is never ideal, but again,
It
looking back
happens
at last summer season, I think we had about 12 guys on IR because they're on holidays still for the first 2 weeks. They're getting back into it, so it happens.
for sure.
It's summer season.
For sure.
It's
For
going to
sure.
happen. Moving forward to the Moose Jaw Warriors here, though, we have Pugs returning again. The legendary Pugs himself here, been here
Eight
for like
season in a
ever.
row as a manager, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
He's
right.
like,
Yeah, he's rocking it, and he's coming in with the GM of Customs. So I believe Customs in the past has run the Pats as an owner. I do believe. If not, he was GM for sure. So I mean, a smart pickup there for a GM there. I think those two are going to be a great tandem coming forward. The biggest pickup that I can see sitting here right now is Lazy Pedestrian coming in at 3.5 million. The guy's like an ex NHL like legend in his own mind. He's had some stellar years, so we'll see what he can do down here in the CHL for the Moose Jaw Warriors, as well as Lindstrom at 5.5 million, a right D coming in, prospect. So I mean, big grabs. Looks like he did a good job in bidding, very balanced in offense and defense, and also picking up a couple of really good goaltenders. One being best player QC
yep.
at 500K, and Mr. Google's two really solid goaltenders for him.
Yeah, for sure. So I think, this is not a shock to anyone. Moose Jaw is going to be a solid team. They always
They're going to
are.
be a team to watch out for this year.
Every season he comes in and builds competitive teams. So shout out to Pugs. Good job, buddy. You're one of the better managers out here.
Yeah, buddy.
Uh,
Rocket.
Looking at Portland Winterhawks, Guru Greg returning for I believe his third season, bringing in not King Sinister, um, with his GM pick. They have not picked an AGM as of yet. Looking at their big spends, biggest price tag going to kind of tied with a couple guys here. We got Perfect Sean on right D at 3.25 mil. The guy always seems to get a pretty hefty price tag.
Yes.
I've yet to play with him. His stats don't look great, but he's not been on the strongest team, so maybe this is his time to shine and kind of finally live up to the contracts he's been handed. And the other one was Honest Monest, center prospect for 3.25 million. Backhand Jamboree, another noteworthy guy here. They kind of had
Definitely
to,
noteworthy.
yeah, they had to pay. They had to pay for their guys for sure. I mean, everyone does, right? Picking up a former TC of mine, Matrix St. Louis, and then they picked up Jay-Way as their two goalies. So Greg's hoping to have a little bit stronger of a go after a rough season 10, and hopefully he can turn around.
And I want to give a nod to Greg for last season and all your hard work in media helping us out.
Yes.
You did a great job, man. Thank you for your efforts and good luck this season, buddy.
Yeah, for sure.
Moving on to the PA Raiders here. We got Sped returning as owner for a second season in a row coming in here. GM coming in as Brutal Death 14. And his AGM, no surprise, his best buddy, Charlie Biscuit, returning to the team. Getting that AGM like 1.5 million at lefty. And yeah, Sped, I was that guy. I had to put at least one bid on Charlie just because I knew you were going after him. Love you, buddy. But it's getting to this year. He comes in with Comic 9 at 3.25 million right wing. I don't know a lot about him. I have talked to the guy in the past and played a few times. Been a solid player, so we'll see if he comes through and be that 3.25 million caliber player for the Raiders this season, as well as 4 million spent on unfinished Hockey, a great grab at lefty. The guy is a very, very strong defender, definitely a smart pickup, and Penn State for life coming in a goaltender 2.75. Got to be the starter in my opinion at that cap salary, but they chose to lock in Lazarus 2 seasons at 500K. So maybe is there something behind Lazarus we don't know?
Yeah, I mean, again, at a prospect, you probably have a pretty good chance of it, right? Um,
Definitely.
and Lazarus is in our chat saying he's gonna be the backup to Penn Stater. But yeah, no, I mean, obviously, Sped looking to build a pretty solid team. He likes to be chatty, and he likes to tell everyone, he's got the best jerseys in the best locker room and the best team. So let's see if he can put his money where his mouth is, and best of luck to him.
Definitely, definitely.
But moving on down, we got the Prince George Cougars. Chase Newman taking that vanity swap. Used to run the Victoriaville Tigers. Now hopping over the W to run the Prince George Cougars. He's got Cub 2441 on GM, and has decided to go with Killer Jake 007, an amateur with 500K contract. Looking at some of the big spends here, paying 4.5 million for overt enemy on left D. 4 mil on Mr. Morgan 31, veteran right D. Going after a lot of veterans and amateur. I think he has 2 prospects on his entire roster,
I believe so.
which is
Yes.
pretty rare to see. So, I mean, maybe that's a call-up risk sort of team, but we'll see. I don't know too many of these names. Oh, Cujo on lefty there at 2.75. He's a pretty solid D-man.
Mr.
Um,
Morgan.
yeah, okay. I personally don't know him. I mean,
Mr.
I'm
Morgan
surprised
ran
if he would be in the
Veldor for a
league.
couple seasons.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, I mean, best of luck to Chase, and hopefully the WHL treats him a little better than the Q did last season.
Definitely, definitely. Moving on, we got the Red Deer Rebels with Da Bomb 72 and CDAT coming in is owner and GM tandem here. No AGM lock yet, which is it's fine. No surprise. A lot of teams don't have it yet. Got to figure out what you're doing, which direction you want to go with it. So take your time on that, folks. Looking at their team, though, any big name grabs here that I can see. Canadian Flyers fans been around forever. I can say that he's been known as a goaltender, I believe, in the past. He's done a lot of forward, so a good pickup at a million for a center grab there. I think he'll be definitely a good center from the half coming into this.
Yeah,
But their biggest grab of all is, and I'm reading it right, is going to be their lefty Kaipaki.
yeah, something like that.
Something like that. Lefty at 3.25 million and Biggie Smugs 14 at lefty as well. Locking him at a 2-season deal as well. Biggie Smugs has been around. He's been a solid D locked. I don't know much about Kapaki's. Hopefully he lives up to his contract. 3.25 is not overly expensive for a D man, especially in the summer seasons. So good on you guys and best of luck to you.
Yeah, for sure. One note I want to say is Mike A. the God right wing prospect there at 2.25. Was expecting him to go a lot higher.
Oh really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, maybe a quiet steal they got out of him.
Maybe it's a sleeper.
Yeah. But looking at
Right.
the Regina Pats, we got Spectre coming back to management, taking ownership here, bringing in Lahomie Yosh on his GM spot. Two French guys running this one, and as you can kind of see, they picked up a lot of French players as well. To kind of run the team with
No
them.
shocker there.
No, and that's fine. I mean, they're usually pretty solid players.
They are.
Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I mean, Rob QC is a pretty solid player. They got their big spend though was Hatrick Swayze on right D at 3.75. Big old Salami, a guy I've known for forever. He's sitting at 3.5 on the right D. 3.25 for Jacoby. They paid pretty hefty for all their D-men, so they had to go kind of cheap on those forwards. Hopefully they can. Um, hopefully they got some steals in that forward zone.
Hopefully they got the balance made right. Hopefully. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. But yeah.
Coming forward here to
Mhm.
the Blades, man. We have Dirty Noof returning as owner with Ant G310 and Coda Chota taking over the AGM slot. It
Yeah,
was a
so the
very good lock.
exact same. Well, he's a fantastic goalie, but yeah, it's the
Yeah,
exact
he
same
is.
management core as it was last season.
It is. It is. Now, they spent big money on Esther 19. Again, it's 6.25 million. He's had these contracts for the past couple seasons in the 6 million range. I love the guy personally. I don't think he's worth 6.25. I'm sorry, Esther, but it's hard to live up that name. I mean, to me, when I hear that kind of money, I'm thinking 90-point seasons. And he's been about a 50, I think, on average, which is not horrible.
50-60 range, yeah, which is not bad. You
Yeah,
need those guys on your team. Like those are second or top line guys depending on how you run your team. But
definitely.
yeah, no, you want in that price range, you want to see a little more. I mean, I just gotta assume he's one of the best locker room guys around. So if he is, I mean, good on him.
He definitely is a good party person to have, a good locker room guy to have. I can vouch for that.
Yeah, for sure.
Guys stand up.
And it looks like
Coming
some of the guys they went after were returning guys. Some of the guys I see on this list here, they kind of paid the returning player tax, like their
They did.
lefty NYG 1227 for 4.5 million. There's some guys. I think Damien was on their team last season at 3 mil. This season now. So they're kind of paying that returning player tax a little bit.
The
But
one big thing standing out that is new to me that I don't recognize is Pizza's ready. 3.75 on a right wing prospect. I'm looking for him to come out and earn that contract and be like, look, I'm putting up 50 points this year, hands down.
yeah, for sure. But yeah, looking at the Seattle Thunderbirds, we got Nitro 814 coming in as the owner, and Nicky Trash 13 is the GM. Taking over a pretty rough Seattle team from last season. Hopefully they can turn it around. Their big spend was two guys tied for 4 million. Diggy 8469, who I believe in season 9 had a really high point total. I'm not sure what he did last season, but I mean, yeah, obviously they felt as though he was a good get at that price. And Bullet Show 21 on center. Oh, sorry, I missed another one. And Lucky Seas. So I wonder if that's gonna be a $12 million line, half their cap in one line.
Right? Yeah.
So we'll see, but yeah, kind of left them a little bit short on cash across the board. I mean, still spending a bit on their D-man Wicked, who I've heard his name floated around a few times, at 3.25 million.
Yeah, his name came across my list a few times too there, but and I mean, obviously we shared the same list, but
Little bit.
yeah, a little bit, right? But I mean, he definitely came across a few guys came to me with him, and never got a chance to play with the guy, so I don't know what he's about, but enough was heard about him to think he's going to be good.
Yeah, for sure, and hopefully he can live up to the contract. Not that it's crazy high or anything, but still.
Definitely not. Moving on to the Spokane Chiefs here, though, we have Method and Fethar returning as the owner and GM tandem. Now, these two were a little rattled when the season ended and draft hit as they lost a lot of their top draft picks, a lot top guys to being drafted last season, and they were a little disgruntled, little thrown off by it. But they came back out in a good bidding session and made some good pickups, in my opinion, as well. With Teflon Don at 4 million, hell of a grab, hell of a defender. Enjoying mids as well. Another strong defender at 3.75. They got medicated death as well at 4 million. These are three guys I can say are going to be steals for these guys, and they're going to be bang up players for them.
Yeah, for sure. A little surprised to see Baked Bagel Bear only go for 500K.
Yes.
So that's a good steal for them to kind of slip that one through while everyone was asleep or whatever happened there.
Right.
But yeah, no, best of luck to Spokane. I believe these two guys have been running this team for a while too, so
I believe so.
I'm sure they're hoping to have a pretty strong season coming into season 11.
Definitely. Let's move on to the Swift Current Broncos.
Yeah, so we got Cell Trace, who I believe was with the Sags last season.
I believe so.
As a player, coming in as an owner now and got drafted, so he's having a pretty good start to the season already. But bringing in his buddy from the team, Dusty544, coming in to run the team together. Paying some big bucks for a couple guys. Greenway Raider on left wing at 4.25 million. Putter 61, 3 mil on the right wing side. Goody 99, former Tri-City Americans GM, so we should see a bit of a rivalry there in the WHL, coming in at 2.5 mil. Former player of yours, Digiman 2.75 mil. Not that expensive considering the point totals he had. So maybe it could be a good steal. And
yeah, by the way, next time, guys, stay off my candy.
And yeah, Steiny, who's a veteran at 3.25 million. So you wonder if maybe they throw an AGM tag on one of these amateur guys that they don't want to lose at a cheap contract. But
Definitely.
no, they look solid coming into the season, and it should.
I'm going to give that big nod to Pooter. I've heard a lot of Pooter being maybe the next big thing on wingers, so I'm really excited to see what they can do this season for them.
Yeah, no,
or
for
Pooter.
Yeah. However you say it. Yeah, no, I've heard that from some higher league guys who were like, "Oh man, you got to get this dude." Yeah. And I'm like, "Really? Okay, I've never heard of him." But yeah, so maybe they got a steal there at 3 mil. We'll see. That's a guy to watch.
Keep an eye on that all season. Definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
Moving on to the Tri-City Americans here, though, we got Slow Death March, another good buddy of mine, returning again for I think his 5th season.
Yeah, he's had Tri-City since it came into inception. So yeah, he's been there a little while.
Right. He's been there a while. Taking in Chips Ahoy again as GM and picking up as AGM here is Mark Laurie T22 or T22, I guess it would be. Yeah.
Mark Lorette 22.
Mark Lorette. There we go. Yeah, okay, Lorette makes more sense. Yeah, same with dumbass guys. Coming in here with a couple big names for himself is Drew Jackson, 3.25 million. We were in on that guy for a while too, so it's a great pickup for him. Definitely a great left winger to have, and still a prospect. Hitting it, I believe it's his third or fourth season now in the league, and he's still a prospect. So he's one more chance to get drafted. I keep thinking each year he's going to go, and he hasn't.
Right? Yeah, every season we're
Maybe
like,
this is
this
his
guy's getting
year.
drafted. Yeah, and then it never happens. He's like the Benjamin Button of the LG world.
That's right. I think this is going to be his year. Another big guy to me, a big trade we mentioned earlier with the Rockets bringing over Bogdan here at 3 million. A really good pickup for himself there as well. I sorry to cut you off. I want to say something, and I cut you off.
No, you're good. Yeah, no. Bach Daddy is definitely a good trade to get there out of Smooth and DLC over in Kelowna. Interesting to see them trade within the same league. I don't know if they're in the same division, but they're definitely gonna have to face him a few times this season, so it could be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of a rivalry there. And you see some of the staples that have been slow to death March's wheelhouse for a while. That guy Matt on returning 2-season contract. He's been with him for 4 seasons now. 4 or
I
5
believe
seasons now.
so. He used to be goalie for him back in season 8
And
when they stopped my Giants in Game 7.
dude, he stood on his head. We had to play him in season 8 too. I couldn't believe it. We were like just flabbergasted, but good
Yeah,
on him, and he's a great guy.
he is. He
But yeah,
is.
no, picking up D Higgs at 2.25 million, little pricey in the goaltender. I mean, I can't really say that anymore because of what I did this season, but a little
Right.
pricey. But he's a very solid goalie.
Definitely. Moving on to the Vancouver Giants here, bud.
Yeah. We got 6'9", coming as the owner with Gravelio, who I believe was draft pick for Pete's last season, right? One of their
I
centers.
believe so.
So he's coming into GM for them. Probably a good pickup there, and getting a DeBrin 12 as their AGM on a veteran $1 million contract. So probably a good choice there. Um, Big spend for them is Bennett X96. I believe he was a former Thunder last season. Pretty solid
He was
player.
he was here for a while. We traded him for B Dub about week 3 or week 4,
Yeah.
and yeah, big name player, heck of a player, great guy, stand up dude, good
hmm
pickup.
But yeah, so 5 mil. I mean, he's the pressure's on now. They spent 3 mil on JST 040 ounce. Um,
40 outs.
yeah, I'm guessing. Yeah, so I mean, I don't know the guy at all. He's an amateur, but he at $3 million. I would imagine he'd have to be a pretty solid guy, or that contract's going to look hefty pretty quickly. Going cheap on both of their goaltenders, but both of their goaltenders are amateurs and veterans.
I do want to point out that Cook Megatoes changed from goalie to right D this year and being picked up as well,
Oh, that's right, and
2.75.
he still went for 2.75. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. And it's funny. I've heard his name in a few different circles, and I saw him as a goalie, and I was like, hey, he's really good. And then as a D man, I was like, I don't know. Like that's a little dicey for me. I've never seen him play it, right? Um, so
Definitely.
hopefully
Me
he
either.
can
It's
he can
getting
be a stud
surprised
for them.
all of us.
Yeah, but hopefully he can be a stud for them.
Hopefully, right? He's been a stud everywhere else. So coming in next, we have the Victoria Royals with is that Kronark and Shoots and Scores. But coming in as the owner and GM tandem, Shoots and Scores, a very nice guy, smart guy as well, knows how to do things. Coming in with a couple, to me, a steal here is going to be Clouche.
Kluche, yeah.
There we go. At 1.75, I think it's going to be a steal for left wing first guy. Herndog at 3 million to lefty, another great pickup. Eagle Hawk 2014, another good pickup there, 3.5 million. And picking up Murder Mass and Net could be, to me, a solid grab for him as well.
Yeah, and even multiple score guys them down there as well. I mean, the Royals looking really strong, and Tone Carbone threw a little fun fact in the chat there, but the Royals never missing the playoffs since their inception. So
Yeah.
that's some big weight on the shoulders of Kronark and Shoots and Scores, but I think they're up to the task. Both very solid players. Picking up Eagle Hawk at 3.5 million, who's perpetually a very expensive veteran D-man. So and likes to take that AGM role and be sort of management. So maybe that's the role he's going to take with them. But best of luck to the Royals.
Possibly. Now, before we continue on to the next league here, division, we're going to call it. I think league we'll call it. We're going to have a little fun here. Chat, if you want to join in, go right ahead. We're going to pick our top hot picks of who we think is going to be the number one in WHL this year coming out on top. So if you guys want to put your names out there, go right ahead. But Dark, will start with you.
Sure. I'm going to put my money, and maybe this would have been a less hot take if I had done this before bidding ended, but The Silvertips. Despite the fact that they lost their owner and had to kind of work some stuff around there and lost a few players due to some issues, I still think they're going to be very solid. They picked up some really strong centers and have some really good defense back there. And Senko's got experience, obviously, winning the cup last season. So, I mean, I'm not doubting them. I think they're going to be the team to beat again in the W.
All right, in our chat here we have I am Groot saying Colt season, that Bell guy saying Moose Jaw season, Savage Kill saying Kane season, and Bolda Ogre says Moose Jaw season.
Yeah. I mean, Barry Colts win the WHL, and I'm retiring from LG. That's impressive. Just because, yeah, they're not in the WHL,
right,
guys.
right. It's a wrong completely, but it's out there.
But, yeah.
For me, I'm going to stick what I've been saying before bidding even happened. I'm going to stick with my home team town, the Pats. I think they're going to build a great team this year. I think they're going to be a team to watch out for. But I mean, again, no knock to anybody else. There's been a lot of strong bidding, a lot of strong teams out there. But I've got to stick with the hometown Pats.
All right, for sure, for sure. But yeah, so feel free to debate amongst yourselves, guys. But we're gonna roll on here with the Barry Colts with God's Ninja returning, and Lamport won as the GM, and now Bench Boss 67, an amateur 500K 2-season contract as the AGM. These guys didn't go too crazy on the forward side for bidding, but on the defensive side, they spent 4.75 for prospect Leet Outlaw.
Leet Outlaw.
Right T, yeah, he's on the right T there, 4.75 million. Walk RW on right D at 4 mil as well, and then King of Thieves, their left wing prospect at 4 mil. So they got their guys they wanted to spend big on, and seem to have gone pretty cheap on the rest. Ducky 315, I believe, a former manager last season and a pretty solid goalie, getting picked up at 500K. So they're pretty locked and loaded at goalie there, with the GM being one as well. And yeah, it should be an interesting season for the Colts. Anyone you see on here you want to shout out?
If it's the right guy, McAvoy, I think he is a return. No, he's not a return. I think he's a new guy. But he could be something huge.
Yeah, for sure. There's a few McAvoys. It's
There is. I had to read that quickly. It was not the guy I thought it was the first, but
yeah.
The name itself does ring a bell to me. And I think I played the guy.
I think you're thinking of the Mooseheads AGM from season 9.
It's possible, but C McAvoy, I have played a couple times.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's something big. He could be that diamond in the rough they're hoping to get at 500K and wow the world with it, right?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. But yeah, so best of luck to the Barry Colts here.
Definitely. Coming in for the Erie Otters here, we have Motley 39 as owner, taking on again another ex-media guy for 2 seasons. Coat Navi's been part of the media team, doing a bang-up job. Finally stepped down this year to do his own thing and take on a team. So again, thank you for all your efforts, Coat Navi, for the past couple seasons and media. You've been a bang-up job, and we're going to miss you up here. Taking in their AGM though is CJC 22,795 is their AGM lock at 3.25 million as well on a 2-season returnee contract.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, big shout out to my goalie who stepped up big in the playoffs when we lost our starter.
I was going to mention that too. Yeah,
Evil Mustache getting him at 500K. I will admit I was asleep at the wheel. That should not have been a 500K pickup. He started.
Both our goalies actually are still the 500K.
Yeah, I was really shocked. I mean, good on you, Kokanyemi. And he messaged me the minute he got him too. And he's like, "How did you not bid him up?" And I was like, why? But yeah, no. I mean, Kokanyemi and Motley both have are pretty smart guys, and I think they'll do a good job building a team. I think the Erie Otters are going to be strong once again.
I think they're going to be a strong team coming out for sure. They also have Washco 86 coming in at center. He played for the Grizzlies.
Yeah.
Season or 2 seasons at least.
Yeah.
One for sure.
Yeah, last season.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean that's a good pickup. He's a very, very smart center to have. They got Robin the Hood 38 coming in at D, 4.25 million. So I mean, and Tantanilo. 818, 3.5 million.
Yeah, he's a pretty solid team.
So some good pickups. I think the team's going to be a hard team to shut down.
Yeah, for sure. One note I will say, though, is they're a little heavy on the amateurs and veterans.
They are. Again, summer season is definitely always that risk, but we'll see how it plays out for them.
Yeah, for sure. But
moving on, buddy.
We got the Flint Firebirds. We got Steelers fan 26. He made his return to management last season, and he's coming back again, bringing in Sports Geek 5 as his GM. They're taking up the left D, right D tandem here, and Halsey 9, New Jersey at 3.75 mil veteran as their AGM to keep him from getting called up. They picked up some interesting guys here. Nocturnal Turtle in net is actually, I believe he's normally a D man, but he's actually, from what I've heard, a pretty good goalie as well. So and maybe not a bad decision to go with him. Their big spend would have been their AGM, who they put at 3.75, MG 2452 at right wing veteran 3.25 mil. Really didn't spend huge on any one guy. I would imagine they still have a decent amount of cap space. Getting X Marner at 1.25 could be a steal. But again, this is another team that's heavily laden with veterans and amateurs.
Veterans and amateurs, right? Yeah,
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 so
definitely.
again, this is a team that could get picked apart by the AHL if the team above them starts to struggle.
Definitely. Again, it's always the risk you take down the CHL. This is, I can't say it enough. As owners and GMs, our job is to find these new prospects, these new bloods to bring them in to make this league grow. If we keep relying on amateurs and veterans, we're never going to grow.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Moving forward, though, for that man, Golf Storm coming in here. Wharf 35 as owner, taking on GP3 as GM, and locking in Philly Steve's 76 as AGM,
Hmm.
as well as the goalie slot for 2.5 million on a returnee contract as well. So locking down two goalies in the AGM and owner spot, never a bad choice to make sure your goalies can't go nowhere, but it could be a bad choice if one goalie starts to fail.
Yeah, for sure. And some interesting guys on the team too, right? Like you got Mike Swick, draft pick, getting called up pretty quick there.
Pretty quick, yeah.
Wonder if they lose him to a call up later.
Very possible. Very possible. I mean, he does very, very well for else. So, I mean, I don't see him staying too long,
No.
honestly.
Yeah, and their big spend, I believe, was Navid 430, former wing and former Ice Dog winning the Mem Cup last season. Obviously, a smart choice. So, I
And
mean,
Spency Brown as well.
sorry, who?
Spency Brown.
Am I blind? Oh, yeah,
Number
the
six.
3.75, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, and yeah, it's spending some big money on some forwards. Hopefully they can make that work. But yeah, I don't see too many names on this list that I'm recognizing too heavily.
Tech 79 has been on forever. Again, he's a veteran on a 2-season contract this season coming that they locked him into a 500K. He's had his ups and downs. If this is one of his up seasons, it could be a steal.
Hmm.
So we'll have to wait and see how that plays out for them.
Yeah, for sure.
Moving on to the Bulldogs, we have Farks 9 returning as owner and taking on Canu as GM. Great name. A good pickup, 500K at Heath 19. The guy played, I believe, back a couple of seasons ago, and
Season 5 or so, yeah.
season 5 or so, and did fairly well there. So it's a good pickup, 500K, if he can perform the same way he did back then. So we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. Chappie going at 3.25. Could be a big spend, but I don't know much about the guy. I've played the guy on and off a little bit. In my opinion, not worth 3.25 pickup, but here we are. Their biggest grab, though, and a lot of teams were after this guy, is Tristy at right D at 6.25 million. Probably a smart pickup and a huge pickup. They probably built around him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I noticed Farks spent big on his defense, paying 3.25 for Chappie. Looking to build that decor up before he gets to his forwards. Returning player for him at least, B Bricker at 2.5 mil. And then he's got his returning guys, Shafter and Justin Kimes, and he picked up Dradovic, who's in our chat, calling himself a shitter, but yeah, picked up at 1.25 mil. He was on the TC for the Ice Dogs last season.
Yes.
So I think maybe that added to his price a little bit. I haven't played with him too much, so I don't know what his skill set's like.
Yeah, me either. Me either. We'll have to wait and find out as the season unfolds.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Next thing I'll start off, but there was a trade here recently that happened as well with this team. So I'll let you get into the owners and some top name players, and I'll talk right afterwards.
Sure. So we got Diggy420 coming in as the owner with Dirty Boop Bubble as the GM. And their big spend this season would have been JSB 021. Pretty solid player. Usually, I think I've seen him more on the right wing.
Yes.
But yeah, no, obviously a solid player pretty much wherever he plays. Spending 3.75 on big save Nabokov, big shoutbox presence on this guy. Coming over from the Xbox side, so we'll see how that works out for them.
Definitely. And then the big trade they're going on was JR Pens 81 going there from the Tulsa Oilers, and they gave up a couple players, but the big name that went back to them, to the Oilers, is a D-Boot 90.
Hmm.
So, I mean, a couple big name players are going for, a big name trade, right? So, exciting to see how that plays out for them.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. But yeah, then you got Lolly PS on goalie at 500K. He was a former Thunder as well. Um,
Yes, yes, he was.
and now taking up his talents with Kingston. So best of luck to him and the team there.
Definitely, definitely. Moving forward to the Kitchener Rangers, we have PK Impa returning as owner, taking on Master Hams as GM, and DBTP 80 at AGM, returning on a 2-season contract, 500K. Uh, Obviously, like we did last season for him, so he's locking him in again at AGM, returning
I believe he was the
that tandem.
owner season 9.
He was in season 9, I believe, and then returned his goaltender, right?
Yeah.
So here we go, right? Here we go. Breaking this down here, looking at his team here now. Murphy 87 to 4.5 million, a huge grab for a defender, but again, defense was the big grabs in my mind this season in bidding. A lot of teams went heavy on those defense, and it's a smart grab. Murphy's definitely a stand-up defender. Um, that's the only name I really see that's standing out to me. Do you see anything else?
Dr. Danks could be a good pickup at 750. I've played with him a few times. I'm sure you mentioned Hockey Star Dude at 4.25 million.
Oh no, I missed that completely. Yeah, Hockey Star
Okay.
did a great pickup as well. Yeah,
Former owner of the Rapid City Rush last season. They didn't have the strongest go of it, losing out, I believe, in the first or second round.
I think I think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So I mean, best of luck to him.
definitely, definitely.
Yeah. Oh, and nice to see Mr. Happy Happy get picked up again. He spent some time with Hockey Star Dude last season, so they get reunited a little.
Reunited there, right? Which was good. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. All right, on to the London Knights then, buddy.
Yeah, and we got Ellis Piccoli, 420, former draft pick, coming in taking ownership here. He hasn't been in the CHL for a few seasons now, but looking to try his hand at forward, primarily a D-man, bringing in NHL Most Hated 99 as his GM on right D. And spending 7.25 million on Art of Defense 14, which is a name we kind of heard buzzing around the bidding table, as it were.
I think Edwin heard that name.
Yeah, and it shows the 7.25 million. So that's a big spend on a D-man, but they're hoping he can be definitely a top pair, shutdown, and offensive kind of guy. But I guess Spicoli probably know his defense, being that he was a draft pick D-man, so he must like what he saw. Paying 4.75 for DJSNEZ. I have no idea how to say that name. Coming in at 4.75. I've never heard of the guy, but obviously, again, someone he thought was worthwhile to pick up. And Bilal Blues 96 at 3.75, another center there. Coming in net for them, they got Jules XD He, who I believe was on the London Knights last season as a forward.
I believe so. I
Not
believe so,
mistaken.
buddy.
And Roland V2. So they got two 500K prospect goalies, so they're set there, no risk of call up, and really didn't take up too much space to do it.
That's right. Exactly. Exactly. Moving on here to the Mississauga Steelheads, buddy. We have Bolda coming in as owner after doing a GM job with Pugs last season. He's done a couple GMs jobs, roles, whatever, in the past few seasons. Finally taking ownership, bringing in Shirt No Service as his GM. Now he made a huge pickup here with Bill Hicks, OGT 19 of 5 million. Probably one of the stronger right wings we'll see in the CHL this year, in my personal opinion. That's a great grab, especially 5 million. That's fairly cheap for a guy of Bill Hicks standards. Looking down at another right winger, there is Jamar 87, $2 million on him. Another good pickup. I believe he used to be an ex-Warrior as well, Moose Jaw Warrior as well. So probably some history to those two guys, know each other a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So good pickups there. Looking down at the defense, he went big on Constantinos at 6.25 million. Another very strong defenseman. Smart choice, smart pickup as well, and also picking up the bipolar Jew 69 in goalie for 1.5 million. That's probably the steal of goaltender this season, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. I think he's going to be one of the better goalies. And at 1.5, some people might think it's a little pricey for goalies, but this guy's good, like really good.
Yes.
So we'll see. But yeah, and then kind of circle back around Bill Hicks going for 5 mil. I mean, it's kind of surrounding around his VG stats. I think he had roughly 2.7 points per game over there. So everyone's kind of feeling like, let's see if he can translate it to this league.
How many points per game you said?
2.7.
Okay. Yep.
Something like that. I mean, don't quote me, guys. It's
Right.
in that
Yeah.
ballpark. But yeah, moving on to the next team is the Niagara Ice Dogs. We got Oakley 1169 coming in. Some big shoes to fill for the Mem Cup champion team. Bringing in,
Not just the Man Cup champion. This team has been like number one for like 3 seasons.
yeah,
In the regular season, anyways.
yeah, they have really strong showings. And bringing in Lil Shing as his GM, they have not picked an AGM spot yet. But did spend 4.5 million on Wager App, a right winger there in amateur status. 3.25 on Grassy on the left wing, really solid player there. 4 million on Bossier Killa, right D prospect. So they owe another 3 mil on Murder 514 for the right D. So it could be interesting. Kind of trying to spread it out a little bit. I'm guessing, a bit on the D, a bit on the forward, and make some top lines and kind of tier it 1, 2, 3, as opposed to just having a balanced lineup. And we'll see if it works out for them.
Definitely, definitely. I'm excited to see what the guys do. I really am, because this team's been a
Yeah.
dynamite team for, I said, 3, if not
Yeah.
4 seasons. They've been those top
For
dogs.
sure. And
Right.
I think Oakley knows it. I mean, he's been in the shout box kind of poking fun, saying that he's going to be this top dog. I think he's doing it mostly in jest, knowing it's a very tough, long season, and 6 rounds of playoffs is not easy. Um,
Right. Yeah, exactly.
but yeah, best of
Exactly.
luck to you there, bud.
Definitely. Moving on to North Bay here, we have NJ Devil 29, and it's not Chris doing the owner and GM tandem again. No AGM as of yet either. Coming out with some big names right off the hop for them is Jay Lou at center at 5 million, Rapplejack's 5 at 4 million at center. So I mean, they paid 9 million for 2 centers right there. They went heavy on centers, which is not always a bad choice, because your center is your third D. It could be a smart call there. Also picking up Dragon Force at right D at 3 million, and Crooked Gunner at 3.25 million on left wing, as well as Party Drew at 4 million on right wing. So I mean, that's some hefty money on forwards.
It is, yeah. So they're looking to be a very offensive-minded team, or they just found those cheap D-men this season.
That will stand out, and hopefully they do for them. Best of luck to you guys going forward. I don't know a lot about you guys, say much about them, so that's
No,
kind of why it's
no,
short.
and I'll say,
Sorry.
picking up Jay Lude and Rappel, who both played on. Well, Rappel, I believe, owned the team, and Jay Lude was just on. Sorry, the Rebels last season. So getting those guys who do have some level of chemistry and familiarity could be a good little bonus to kick off the season.
Definitely, definitely.
Moving on, we got Mike Chudopel, formerly Mike Jakob, coming in as owner after being GM in the CHL for the Atlanta
Vanity
Gladiators.
swap.
Yeah, took the vanity swap out to Oshawa. Coming in with him is Bufford 80, a solid GM pickup. They paid 5.5 million for their right winger veteran, Cree Fears. They got Feeney Kid at 2 mil, who can be a solid pickup for sure. Gredner 2.75. He's had some up and down seasons.
Yes,
but can be a really solid player when he's on. Looking at their defensive side, they got most of their guys pretty cheap, and a fair amount of amateurs down there too. The big spend
I
for
do
them
want to say
was.
Hunter Roll at 2.25 to me. That might be overpaid.
Yeah, I mean, it depends who you ask. There were some people saying Hunter Rollo for MVP and 5 mil, so maybe, we'll see.
We will. Time will tell for sure, right? Time will tell for
And
sure.
you got a big locker room presence in there with Joja 15 coming in as a veteran goalie. But sort of Mike's AHL experience showing through here with the veterans and the amateurs, relying on past names that he's known a little bit to get his team built. So it could be
Definitely,
interesting to see if he loses some guys to call up.
definitely. Coming over next is the Ottawa Sevens with Kai Stu taking over ownership after being GM for a subpar team of the Islanders last year. Being GM, they're finally saying, "No, I'm going on my own route. Show you how it's done."
Yep.
Taking in Ackerman 12 as GM as well.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them locked in left D slot, so that, I mean, made bidding a little easier, knowing you had to pay up 40 instead of 6.
Yep.
It still was insane that they went really, really cheap on their D at 500K for him.
Yeah, and that's because they paid a lot for their forwards.
They did. They went 8 million on Exmoor and 67. Again, that is not a bad bid. That is not a bad pickup. This is probably the best right winger that's going to be in the CHL. I know I said Hicks is probably one of the top ones, but this is probably the best right winger in the CHL this year. Be ready for that guy. If you're playing him, you may as well just take the. suicide your line against them because you're not going to win that game.
Yeah, and again, all the Ottawa 67s need to do is just make sure they can insulate him with guys who can move the puck and set him up and be ready to be set up. You don't want to waste that kind of talent and that kind of cap hit. But yeah, they also
Exactly.
paid $3 million for Blade
To
D
pick
man.
up an ex Thunder for 2 seasons in management, I did a bang up job for me. I want to thank you as well and saying good for all the you did for me, Thunder, helping me build 2 stellar teams 2 seasons in a row. You're gonna be missed over here. I just had to change things up. Still love you, girl. Take it easy over there. 2.25, by the way. Hopefully she do a bang up job for the sevens.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Still holds some Thunder records over here, so good luck to
She
her in
does.
the
She
in the
does.
67s.
But yeah, I mean, again, I think they'll be a good team depending on how the defense can help hold their own. There's going to be a strong team to beat.
Yeah, for sure. And I believe Kai
Again,
Stu is
it
switching
falls on
from
defense.
forward to D, isn't he?
Who is? Sorry?
Kai Stu, the owner. I believe he was a forward
He
last
was,
season.
I believe he was a forward, winger slash center last season, I believe.
Yes, so I mean, hopefully he's got both positions down and felt like he could save some more money on the D spot.
Definitely, definitely. Let's move on, buddy, to the Owen Center Town.
All right, yes, we got that Bailey guy coming in as the owner of the Owen Sound Attack, taking over for Jackal, who I believe ran it for 2 seasons as GM/owner in those seasons, and bringing in NJ Kid 93 as the GM and G New 543 prospect AGM at 1 mil. So obviously they have some sort of rapport there, and felt like they could roll with that guy, spending 3.5 million on Cool Boy 1. Probably a decent pickup, an amateur, maybe a call-up risk, but he usually puts up a pretty good amount of points. Broken 92-16 on the left wing at 3.75, and Gary Pye, center veteran, 3 mil. Spending pretty heavily on their forwards and giving a few hefty price tags down to the D with Cole Driven 31, another veteran, and N Wright 420 on the left D prospect 2.75. So they look to be a decent team. To me, they look like a very balanced team. They're not going to
I was
have.
saying the bidding was really balanced back then. I mean, they about 3 million was their cap on anybody, 3 to 3.5, 3.7. They
Yeah,
balanced it out between the forwards and the defenders. They didn't go heavy on one and weak on the other. They did a good balance, Mike.
yeah, for sure. And I don't recognize either of their goalies.
I don't either. I know a couple of their other forwards. Like I know Gary Pye for a long time.
Mm.
I've known Cool Boy, not personally, but I've known who he is and how he plays for a long time, as well as Kay Haller. Definitely to me, those are 3 guys to kind of watch out for.
Yeah, K. Haller being a TC on the wings last season until I ended up, I think, trading him to Owen Sound, funny enough.
Right?
But yeah, no, I really liked him at goalie when he needed to fill in for us. So to see him go at left wing, I mean, hopefully he's got the same level of talent up there as he does back in the net. And best of luck to him, and thanks for all your help last season. But yeah, moving
Right?
on to the next team, looking at the Peterborough Blitz.
Yes, we have It's True coming back here as the owner, taking on Space Pilot 3000 as GM, which is a GM switch for him, but also a smart pickup. A Space Pilot, probably one of the most underrated defensemen in the game for the past couple of seasons, where he's actually a lot better than his stats look.
Okay.
It's unfortunate times, so I think it's a good lockdown for them. Very, very smart choice. Picking up their big name player, trying to hide this season with J.R. Greer then at Dobbs Plan, sitting there at right wing on a 2-season deal, $2.75 million. You tried to hide, people found you.
Well, you know what? 2.75 isn't too bad. I mean, he's
No, it
primarily.
isn't. I definitely placed a couple bases in that one to make sure you went a little higher than you're supposed to.
Yeah, for sure.
My theory was anywhere Pete's, please.
Yeah. No, I mean, and you know what? I think he went right wing just to try and be a Pete, right? He spent, I think, his entire career
Definitely.
as a Pete.
Definitely.
And
that's what's heart and soul.
he's
So,
primarily a
it's
lefty
nice to see him
and
there.
a really stand-up goalie.
He is. He's a great guy too. I love just joking with the guy, right? So I mean, it's always.
Yeah, for sure.
But moving on from that, they got Daddy Sparta as well, left wing at 2.75. Hide us to the moon at D at 3 million. Another good pickup by them. Banky Slide as well, 3.5 on right D. Again, a lot of amateurs and veterans involved on these big names here. They could be a potential call-up, especially at these lower salaries.
One guy who went really, really cheap was Boston Hydro. I don't know if
Boston
everyone
Hydro
knows
is
who
a
that is,
steal.
but yeah, I mean, again, another guy. We can't bid on everyone, right? So another guy I saw go and go, oh man, why did I let him slip?
Yeah, why did we let it go so low, right? Yeah, I mean, that's definitely another steal of goaltending right there alone. The guy's going to be a stand-up goaltender for them, probably their starter. And might not play 6 out of the 9 games, in my opinion.
Yeah,
All
definitely.
right, I'll bring you over to the Spears here, buddy.
Yeah, so we got Dysfunction '07 coming back from a bit of a leave there, retired for season 10, coming back as an owner here, bringing in Boys World 123 at center, the GM, and Dr. Teabag, nice name, is also a center,
Right?
and was his big spend and AGM at $6.5 million. Veteran status, he's had success at pretty much every level. Picking up some guys, Rip Jockstrap, former Thunder, coming in there at 2.25. Leech Moyala, I can never pronounce his name, but I know him. Right deep prospect at 3 mil. Good pickup there. Green Ninja 1198 at 1 mil could be a steal. My Magic Man, another guy at a mil who could be a pretty good goalie. And then just some kind of filler guys. Right, you see Tangeray, who's kind of had some up and down seasons. Same thing with Ass Ranchero. Damien himself, has had some up and down. So
I got to call out Rip Jockstrap as well, an ex-Thunder from last season. He was a big pickup for me at the deadline and helped my team go to the playoffs.
yeah, for sure. I think that's definitely a fair assessment of him. And this looks like this could be a team that might struggle a little bit, but we'll see. I mean, Dysfunction built a really strong season 9 Kingston team, so I don't put it past them to make these guys strong.
Me either. And Dr. Teabag, I mean, really is a strong player. It's a big pickup for him.
Definitely.
Definitely. Moving on to the Sarnias thing, though, to Baron Bombast turning his owner here, bringing in ND Friend 21 as a GM, and Deliu 2 is AGM. Taking in Flamin here, 3.25 for goaltending, a big pickup. He went 2.25 as other goaltender as well. Gotten 2 strong goaltenders. 5.5 million between both. Obviously not horrible.
Yeah, it's a little pricey. It's a little pricey.
It's a little pricey in my opinion, but not horrible. I mean, both goalies are probably worth that cap. I hate saying that because I'm a big believer in 500K. That's all you need for a goaltender. Again, this year, someone, not mentioning names,
no
put me
name,
over that.
no name calling.
So my whole 500K thing got ripped apart. So I got to say, good bid for 2 goaltenders there. Go bust it out. Also picking up Holloweyes there at 2 million. The guy had a bang up year in season 8 and season 9, I believe. Season 10 wasn't so hot for him, but I'm looking for to bounce back this. Cronwall 55 at 4 million at center. Good pickup as well. Very strong player. And Robbie at D at 2.5 million, another strong defender, I can say. And Nimbowitz as well at D 3.5.
Yeah, no, it looks like a pretty solid team, and I know he was that list came out, everyone saw it, right?
Yeah.
He's bidding on my guys, but no, it's fine. We seem to have a similar list, and yeah, he was not afraid to spend on goalies. I can tell you that much.
Definitely. What was on here to the Greyhounds, buddy?
Yeah, for the Sioux Greyhounds, we got Huff Dog coming back with Speakster 69 as the GM and Michachis as the AGM. These 3 guys have been around each other for a long time. Michachis, formerly known as Two Pump Chump, ran I want to say Portland Winterhawks in season 8.
I think so.
I believe so. Sorry, my memory's a little foggy that far back. But yes,
these
guys have been running in the same circles for a while, and at 2 mil, they decided to make him the AGM tag there. And they didn't really have any crazy big spends. The biggest contract they put up there was Jay Sunny 21, right wing prospect, 3.5 mil. And another guy at center, Father Pat, 3.25 mil. But outside of that, really going pretty cheap. Captain McQueen at 2.5, 500K goalie at Adler Jagger, and their owner's a goalie. So I mean, these guys should be in pretty good shape for cap space if they need to make some moves down the line. Young
that
Sav,
wiggle room's there, right? Which is always important.
Young Sav at 1.5 million could be a pretty good price tag for him. He had a bit of a rough year on the Stingrays, but he is a pretty solid player.
He definitely is.
So we'll see how it works out for them, and best of luck.
Definitely. Moving forward here to the Sudbury Wolves, we have Sniper 26, 1981, and C Smurf 81 returning as the GM owners, and AGM coming in as Justy No 2 at a 3.25 million contract and a 2-season contract locked in this season. Sorry, not a return. Also spending 4 million on Heisenberg at right D at 4 million as well. Rick 69 at 3.75 million. Just some big names there. Davey Boy is 189 as well, 3 million. I don't know much more about anyone else in this team, but those are some big pickups in my mind that they definitely took a snag onto.
Yeah, for sure. And again, hopefully they can have a stronger season than they did last year. They missed in the playoffs in the O were the Wolves. So, and Bar Down, former wing in season 9, getting him at 500K. Didn't have the strongest showing last season. So maybe they get him at a friendly price and he bounces back a bit. But yeah, moving on here, we got the Windsor Spitfires with Ray coming in as the owner, and Penguin Leaf 319 as the GM, and Killer Monkey was the AGM before bidding even started. They were locked and loaded, ready to give him that tag, knowing he's a 500K scorer.
For 1 second there, man, I'm gonna just stop. Oakley puts in goalies always good as defense, and Oak, you are exactly right, man. Goalie he can be the best goalie in the game. If you have no defense, he's not going to be the best goalie in the game. You're 100% right.
Agreed. I mean, I've seen very, very, very few goalies who can steal you a game where you're completely out of it. I mean,
Definitely.
there are guys that come to mind. Like Kota Chota is one of those guys that you really don't want to play against. Whenever he's on, it's a pain in the ass to get one by him if you're not tipping it. I understand what you're saying, and I 100% agree. But circling back
Yeah.
to the Spitfires here, their big spend was Scrody Nuttler on lefty at 5 mil. Big, big payment for him. Maybe a bit of an overpayment. We'll see on that. We got 3 mil for Toe Cutter, veteran there. 3 mil. Um,
No surprise to see him go there, honestly.
no,
Him and Ray have been together for I think every season, so no surprise.
yeah. WK Boomer at 2.25 mil. Really solid center. I had him season 9 and can really produce as a center. Landon Blues, another guy, not surprised to see go there, kind of in the same circles as Ray.
He's a turning as well, right? So.
Oh, sorry, he is. Yes, my apologies.
Yeah.
Oh, both of
Yeah.
them are. Well
Yeah,
done.
Dirt McGirt, Landon Blues, and WK Boomer all on return contract.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, ignore me, guys. Did not bid on him. Does
That's
not care.
right, man.
Yeah,
You're
right.
fired.
So they didn't have to do a whole lot of bidding. They actually had a fair amount of two-season returnees. But
Mm-hmm.
St. Louis Cujo right D at 500K is probably a pretty good pickup for them.
Probably,
And
yes.
Knight 2K amateur two-season 500K goalie could be a good steal for them.
There's one guy here I'm looking to come out big for them this year. It's my boy Woogie, 22-16. Woogie, come out there and crush it, man. Go do it.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, good luck to the Spitfires, and see how you guys do.
All right.
And I
Well,
believe
before
that
we
is our
move on
last.
again,
Yeah, that's our last team in the OHL. So
we're
I'll
gonna get
let
some
you.
predictions here again, some hot takes.
Yeah, I'll let you go first this time.
All right, right. I'm gonna do my hot take again. Audience, feel free to join in. We'll really can out for you going along here, but I'm gonna go with the Steelheads here, man. I think Boldy did a really good job this year. He picked up some really good goaltending, some really good focus, some smart defense. I think he's gonna be a tough team to beat. I think he's gonna come on top this time.
Okay. I'm putting my money on the Otters. I think Motley's just getting warmed up after last season and picking up Kokanyemi and some stud goalies. I think they're going to be the team to beat. I think that's your top dog is the Erie Otters season 11.
Okay. Audience has nothing to say, so except for the Pups are dead last.
I mean, that was just obvious, though, right? Like, is water wet?
The Bell guy says attack's going to be easy. The top team.
Yeah, for sure.
On that note, Dirk, I want to tell you this.
Yeah.
This is a little cold thing for you, Aardvark.
Yeah. Give me 1 second.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. Yeah, so moving on here to the Acadia Bathurst Titan. We got Rat 48 180 coming in. Guy confirmed dodged me. 2 seasons against the guy in the ECHL. Would not put himself in a game against me. Very upsetting, and he took the vanity swap to get away from me. So I'm going to be rubbing it in his face all season. But in all seriousness, though,
He's
dodging me. Yeah, I want to play him. Come on, bring it on, Rat.
Now, to be fair, you guys did play in like a scrim game the other day. We're getting ready for a preseason game. How was that going?
I believe we won. I was rolling the Enforcer D, and Rat would not come near me. But it is what it is.
Love you,
Yeah.
Rat.
He's the owner for the Titan, and Dog Chow 16 coming in as the GM prospect there, and SIU at 2 mil as the AGM. Not surprising. These two guys have been conjoined at the hip, I think, since season 6 or season 7.
Yeah, I think Sue was going to break out into his own thing this year, but he fell back down to the sea. And
I've
Right
talked to him.
back
I've
to
talked to him privately. I think he's got some personal stuff going on where he doesn't have a lot of time to be a manager.
Okay, yeah.
So we'll see, right? But big pickup for them was Dirty Dog at 6.25 million. Guy had a stellar point production last season. To live up to that 6.25, he's got to match it or exceed it. So that's going to be tough for him. They brought in his buddy who ran with him over on Medicine Hat and Gremlin at 500k. We're able to get him on the cheap. Keep their big money get there happy, and then MAP3 at 4.75 is a D man. Max Ligori at 3 mil. They spent some money. They saved a lot in the goaltender category with Mods and the Sea of Red both at 500k. Um, yeah, this team looks a little bit underwhelming, but I mean you never know. They do have some draft picks that could come back up. They still have I think it's Donnell, and they even got Jay McKinnon randomly assigned to them coming down from the AHL, and he had like 70 or so points. So
Definitely,
they're not in a bad spot. I think Rat could be pushing again to be good.
definitely. I'm moving on here, man. We got Draka. I was just trying to say the whole name. I ain't trying. I'll mess it up.
Yeah.
I already did mess it up. Trying to say it first. All right, so Drakar coming with Jacob is the owner. Swags is the GM. Good pickup for a GM. The guy had a great year last year. And Astronomy coming as AGM at 2.5 lock in at AGM for left wing slot. Good, definitely good choices in management. Pick up here this gem there, center, 3.25 million. A very good center. Smart with the puck.
Mhm.
Probably a good pickup for them as well. Twisted Clown 19 coming in lefty, 3 million. And Dr. Detroit 317 at 2.75. A couple of smart pickups there as well for defense for themselves. Goaltender wise, I don't know these goalies personally.
Actually, I do.
You
Funny
do
enough,
okay.
Habs
They take
3105 is a throwback for me. I haven't
okay.
seen this guy since season 7. We used
Okay,
to
there you
we used
go.
to hang around a lot. I believe he's a newfie. Really nice guy, fun locker room presence. Maybe a bit of an overspend at 2.5, but he's definitely fun to have in the locker room. And King Prather had a pretty solid go of it with the Silvertips late in the season. So these two guys coming in, they're hoping can kind of stay on their heads a little bit, obviously because they spent almost 5 mil on them.
Right, exactly. By the way, artwork again.
Cool.
Coming on next, we have Armada coming in though. Owner Nate Jones and Drama Joan Rio is GM coming in for them. Their biggest pickup for them is Martin Lyon 7 at left wing at 5.25 million prospect, as well as Dangled U2 at center for 4 million in amateur. Some big names are forward, about 9 million, 9.2 spent on those two alone. So hopefully they come out swinging and give them what they need. Uh, Mike 5K or Mike K59 at defense, a smart pickup. He's been a known defense around the league for a while, so it's a good smart pickup for them. It's the same as solid as Jello at 2.25. A new guy coming in, and last but not least, I want to talk about Craig 85. Craig D85, correct? He's been around forever. This guy has always had stand-up seasons. He does have his faltering games here and there, but for the most part, he bounces back pretty good.
Awesome. Sorry to kind of comment to Dusty there, saying he had Habs 3105 last season. He is the newfie that I'm thinking about, right? Like I'm not mistaking it for someone else because I remember there's a lot of Habs and then numbers out in this
There is.
this EA game. So just remind me real quick. I'm pretty sure it's him though. While he takes his time responding there, we're going to move on to the Cape Breton and Screaming Eagles with Decisive coming back to management and bringing in Sergeant Snuggles, his former GM when they last ran the Season 9 London Knights. Picking up some interesting guys here. Oracle Rampage being the big spend at $7 million. Put him on a
Definitely.
2-season contract. Possible call-up risk. Maybe that's where the AGM tag goes for them.
Maybe,
Even at
possibly.
7 mil, I know it sounds crazy, but he's an NHL player.
Yeah, he is.
Um,
But we
and
were in on him too. But as soon as you guys jumped to 7 million, I was out. I was out.
Yeah, a little rich for my blood, guys.
Yeah.
But coming in at right wing, we got Denichi with
He's
five
had some
point.
stellar seasons.
Yeah,
Pound the sea. Right. I
yeah,
5.25. That's a hefty contract up to.
yeah, for sure. Jay Koch, 500k maybe steal. He was an AHL goalie last season and a D man prior to that, so he's kind of bouncing around position wise. He's done pretty well at all of his positions. Um,
Definitely.
yeah, but yeah, so we'll see how that goes.
Definitely.
Looking at the rest of their team, Tig
Young
Cham and
modern
Andrew
at D
Goldie.
is not a bad pickup.
Yeah, no, that's a good pickup. Their goalie at 2 mil there could be a good choice. He's a pretty solid goalie back there. See how he does for them. But this is one of the teams that is expected to be very high scoring, spending some big money on
Definitely, I think
defense.
they're going to be probably one of the highest scoring teams in this league.
Yeah, for sure.
Moving on to the Charlottetown Islanders, we have Blazing Hip returning as owner yet again, with Egomaniac Stud as GM coming in. The biggest pickup here is a big dump foot at 5.25 million. I still think this is a call up risk even at 5.25, but if he doesn't, it's a great pickup. I know he went pretty high last season and still got called up, so I don't think he's going to be here long, but we'll see. We'll see.
I don't know.
Uh,
I know the person who pushed to have him called up. I don't know if he goes up again. He didn't have a bad season in the AHL. He just wasn't 5.25 million.
if he stays, it's definitely huge for them.
Oh, 100% it is. So I
Yeah,
mean
definitely.
that could be big. Getting B2 at 500K is honestly a little dicey, not because the price tag, but I've had him two separate times and he's quit the league two separate times.
Oh, okay, okay.
So if he
Uh,
can kind of settle down a little bit and find a way to play consistently and stick to it, then he could be a good pickup. He's a solid defenseman. Um,
Definitely, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Don Elway as well, like a D pick up there,
Yeah.
2.75. A smart choice there to pick him up as well.
Benner
And
77 I haven't seen since season 8. I guess he must have stopped playing because he's a prospect. Surprised to see him go 500K. I know Ray would have known him. DLC would have known him. There was a few teams out there that would have known who this guy was.
right,
So I'm
right,
surprised
yeah.
to see him go cheap.
Another guy that I haven't seen around in a minute. I'm talking like 2 or 3 seasons. Maybe I've been sleeping on the wheel. I don't know, but Dancing Tank 419 has returned himself to LG here. First time I've seen his name said in a while. So 1.75 could be a smart pickup as well.
Yep, for sure. And Skyforce in the on the back end and Puffer M. I mean, getting some cheap goalies at prospect.
Good price for two goaltenders. Very good price.
Exactly. And Egomaniac and Blazing Hippie both running some less than stellar teams last season. They're hoping they can kind of combine forces and pick it up and be a little stronger this year.
Definitely, definitely. Let's move on to the Sags, buddy.
Yep. So coming in here, we got now changed to Keeper 0386. He's been the owner there for, oh my God, how long?
A while.
Yeah, just a little while, right?
I think him, Pugs, and
Death
Slow
Punch.
are basically the ties. Pretty
Yeah,
close.
I think
The
I mentioned that
longest.
during the manager or the
I
owner
believe we
list
did.
reveal.
Yeah.
Then Splashguard is the GM yet again. I'm picking up KRT Peanut Butter. Not a surprise. He's been around Keeper for since the dawn of time.
Forever. Things like season 2, I think.
Their big spend here was Vikings QC, who I was a little surprised to see go 5.25. Especially because I think
Especially center.
yeah, I think he's a little better on the right wing, but again, that's just my opinion. Maybe he plays a style that works a little better with these guys. But we'll see. Shout out to Knocking Futz at 500K. He's one of my buddies I play Conan with.
No, there
So
you go. There you
decided
go.
to switch to forward, and good luck on that one. Crapo Caco, formerly known as Bure X10, had a rough go of it last season with the Stingrays, but stuck it out and got paid big
Burry can
time.
be a great guy, but if things go south, he becomes that problem.
Yeah, yeah. That well, you know what? But I will hand it to him. I mean, I don't know. I wasn't in the Discord, right? But he stuck out the whole season with a Stingrays team that
He did.
was
He definitely
really
did.
not good. Like, not
I
to be
mean,
rude, but
maybe he's matured a bit and has changed that tone too. I haven't talked to him in a lot of years.
yeah, I haven't either. So I mean, hopefully he's kind of cleared it up, and the $4.5 million cap's pretty heavy, but hopefully he can be strong with them. They paid a lot for that left D side with
They did. They
Tantalus,
did.
Crapokako, and Cake Kip. Tantalus, I was surprised to see go as high as he did. He's typically a goalie, except for in the summer seasons, just because of his availability goes down a little bit. He can't play 6 a week. Um, but yeah, so I mean, hopefully that works out for them. That seemed to be the majority of their big spends was Vikings and their D men. So hopefully it works out. And getting Booger Bomb and KRT back in the net should be decent.
Should be decent. A good little tandem going on there. Going on to the Drummond build here, though, man. We have LHS Brad returning as owner, taking in Wute Creek as his GM, blocking that goalie slot for himself, which is a smart place to be. I know originally he was signed up as a center, which he's a very good center as well. So either spot he put him in would have been a good choice, but decided to fall back, forbidding there to changing to the goalie slot. So obviously enjoying it there, right?
Yeah, and a stud goalie for sure.
Definitely a stud goalie. You can't even shake a fist at him, so it's all right. Coming in for them, the high spender here, not a lot of high spends here. They're all, I think, 3 millions are capping anybody. So we'll call those guys out right now. Squatch of 73 at right D. Definitely a good pick up there. It's been a very, very good D throughout the past few seasons. I think he's been here since like season 3 as well.
Okay.
So I mean, no, it can't be that quite that long. Doing an amateur, so it's been a while though. Mike coming in as well at right D as well, 3 million. Another good pickup, very smart defender. Looking at the center, they have Keller at 3 million as well, and Mighty at the B at 2.25. A couple good pickups there at center as well. Again, a lot of veterans and amateurs here. So you got to wonder, do these guys stay? Do they go up? Because they're not overly paid. They're fairly cheap considering the contracts of summer seasons are.
For sure.
It could be a risk.
And Brad ran the team for a while with was it Bose and Saros?
I believe so.
Yeah, and finally not finally, I should say. He's now separating with him. But they had a really strong season 9, a little bit weaker in season 10, hopefully hoping for a bit of a bounce back. Should be interesting picking up the Canadian 777 as a left wing as opposed to a goalie. He was a stud goalie last season in the AHL. Picking up made it to the B, like you mentioned, could be hit or miss. We'll see how that goes. So
yeah,
best of luck to these guys.
Yes, definitely. I want to move on to Gat. No, there, buddy.
Yeah, so we got the Guardian coming back for his millionth season of management. I believe he won like the first ever Mem Cup in like season 2.
I believe he was the first winner. Yes.
Yeah, I believe with the London Knights and ran that team for so long, and he just seems to churn out management. You see bail money going from working with him to now owning the Wheat Kings. Like he's one of those stand-up guys that's been around forever. Switching back to defense, I believe after playing goalie last season.
Yes.
Vital Days. We did not cover the AHL, but if you check out Mike Naughty's stream, which his Twitch name is, give me a second, Eastbound and Chell. It'll be archived there.
Yes, it will be.
And you can check it out there and see what they had to say about the bids up there. But yeah, if you're looking for their show, it's always Saturday at 7 p.m. So check it out then and there. Circling back here a little bit, we got Guardian coming in with McLaughlin, GM, and at center, and Bad Intentions at center at 1.25.
Definitely, and the returnee coming in for them, the Freak Show. So I've known this guy for season 3. The Freak Show was a steal for me in season 3. Was my strongest center in season 3. Guy knows his stuff.
Yep, for sure. And one of their big spends here, SD 2992 at 3.25 million, was 4.5 last season as a forward. Tried switching it up to D. He can't escape that big contract. Hopefully he can live up to it. But I am noticing they are missing one D man from their roster, so I'm assuming a move is coming sooner rather than later.
Same here, definitely. And another person I want to call out returnees there is Jay Rush, who was in that Tops prospect game. Didn't get his draft like he wanted to. Is now amateur, right? So attorney for them, I think, will be a huge impact.
Yeah, he definitely could be. Lesbian Psycho there at goalie, 500k as a prospect. Could be a quiet steal, and having Kane Warning 09, who was a stud for them last season, returning. 2 500k goalies, they should be set back there.
Definitely. Moving on to the Halifax Mooseheads here. We have White Sox 77 come back as owner, taking on Dude 336 as GM and locking in BPL Mata at AGM at 1.25 million on the left wing slot as well. Dude and White Sox both locking down left D as well. I didn't mention that earlier, so I do it now. So they only had, again, 4 defensemen to bid onto, and they didn't go overly crazy on it, but they did spend about $6 million on two defenders. One right now is on IR, but that happens, like I said, during summer season. Don't worry about it. The guy back, he'll rock it for you. STM 68, very smart pickup, and Major K Colin as well at $2 million. Some nice pickups there for themselves. Give a shout out to a buddy of mine, Cole Forbin, 500k on right wing. Could be a very, very solid pickup. The guy does know how to be a positional hockey player and a team player. So hopefully he can help ride this team.
Yeah,
and get them motivated.
It looks like White Sox trying to rebuild his team from last season a little bit. Bringing in some new guys like Flavius 10 who played for a backup role for the Oilers last season at 1.5 mil, and left-handed Larceny at 500k. So could be interesting.
The biggest spend forward though going to Z Marcy 80 prospect left wing.
Yeah, he played for them last season, and I'm sure they they're not too
For
happy
good
to
reason,
pay.
they go back on to him, right?
Yeah, so they're not too happy to pay the returning player tax, but I can tell you, it's a real thing, and I've paid it. You will see that I've paid it. Um, but
All right, well, let's mosey on to the Wildcats, buddy.
Yeah, so we got Bulging Twine here. Probably the loudest owner, but he's been around for a while. Bringing in Ebola Granola as his GM, a lefty prospect there, and Mr. DJ Boyer, uh, a center prospect at 3.5 mil as his AGM. His big spend here was 5.5 million on a prospect named Nasty. I have no idea who he is, but I'm assuming he has to be at least half decent to get that kind of a cap hit.
Right.
Marquis at 4 million, really solid player. Maybe a touch of an overpayment, but if you put him with the right guys, I'm sure he could be quite solid. He went pretty cheap on the defense, being that he and his GM are both defenders. Really, the only guy they paid more than 500K for was Ferret, 146 on lefty as an amateur. So it could be interesting for them. Their goalies are CS 1965 GP, who I played with a couple times, and he's a pretty stand-up goalie and a good dude. And then it's oh my god, I'm not pronouncing that. Another goalie at 500K who's a prospect. That's who he is. Yeah, no, they look like they could be pretty strong in the queue this season.
I think they will be a very strong team as well, coming out with some of the pickups and bids. But the next team coming here, I think, is going to be even a stronger team, which is the Quebec Ramparts, with One Eye returning and Jay Peach coming in as GM, locking in Versace Python 710 at AGM of 500K on a return contract as well at that point. Doing a GM switch there, taking on Jay Peach is a smart choice. Jay Peach knows hockey, knows players, knows how to help build a team. I think that's going to be a great tandem for these guys. Had the luxury of playing these guys actually in a preseason game last night, and heck of a battle. I think it's going to be a heck of a team. They did a really good job coming out. But to talk about some of the top players here, they didn't go overly heavy on any forwards. They did a really smart job of staying cheap and low on forwards, but they went heavier on their defensive side. And a little bit heavy on goals, but not overly heavy. Wing fans at 90, 42, 1.5 million. Still fairly cheap, but probably another steal of goaltender there, Flower at 500K. Probably going to be in the top 5 for goalies this year in the CHL. So that's a very, very cheap pickup for a very strong goaltender. I got to give him complete nods for that.
Okay, okay. Little shout
Brady
out.
Nitro, though, coming in, at lefty at 3.75 million, and Bruiser 781 as well as 3.5 million coming in for them at lefty, and Splats at 4 million for righty. To me, some big pickup names.
Yeah, for sure. I want a little shout out to Chicken Biscuit. Spent some time in the CHL with the Mavericks, and then was later called up to the AHL to play up there, and made it all the way to the finals for the Condors. Switching to forward this season could be interesting. He's a smart hockey player. If you put him with the right guys, he can be pretty strong. I think these Remparts are looking pretty good. I think long gone are the days of One Eye being on the Steelhead season 9 and owning that penalty minute record and just having a rough go of it. He showed the Remparts can be really strong this season. I think he's looking to do it again.
Definitely, definitely. Let's move on, though, buddy, over to the Oceanic.
Yeah, so we got King Sinister coming in as the owner, and on left wing, not even close to the goalie. Gaming Guy 98 is his GM, a lefty prospect there, and they've yet to pick an AGM. Their big spend would have actually been, I think their goalie was their biggest spend, at 3.5 with Vic Malt Vinegar, who spent last season with the Red Deer Rebels. Really solid goalie. 3.5, probably an overpayment for a goalie, but again, glass houses and stones don't mix.
Right, exactly.
So,
exactly.
with that said, we'll move on a little bit here with Advanced Human, veteran right D there at 2.25, pretty solid player. Rhythm MC coming in at 2.5, Commodore 0822, 2 mil at the amateur spot. Spending most of their money on the D. Couple guys at Gilly Boy 20, who I believe you had season 8 in Vancouver.
I did, yes, I did. I
Pretty.
was actually on him this season to bring him back to under.
No luck.
No luck. I mean, there's a certain price they got to pay for players, and that was beyond it.
Yeah, but no, a really good player and good on them for getting him. Really good locker room guy and another Newfie, and they are honestly the best locker room guys. If you can find a Newfie, keep him. He's the best.
They'll make you laugh all day.
Oh my god, yeah, I had one on my team last season, and everyone just loved being around him because he just everything's fun for them, right?
Definitely.
And Chris 41687 left wing prospect at 2.5 mil. So,
Definitely.
they've got some holes, they've got some strengths. We'll see what they can do with it, and obviously, every team makes trades and stuff, so we'll see how it goes.
They do. Moving on to the Huskies here, we have Andrew returning, owner taking on Wiggles as GM. Again, no AGM luck here yet, but it's still early. No rush, no hurry on that one. Uh, Big name for me coming out of the hop. He regains DFA Loons on a 2-season contract, a $1.75 million contract. Smart pickup, smart goaltender, hard to beat. Definitely smart from the return to get that guy. Definitely paid probably more than he wanted to on the returning cash bracket contract. He went 500K last year, so
Yeah.
definitely a little climb for him, which is good. Moving on from that, though, he picked up M. Bassett center at $4 million, and Iceman or Ice 57 man 3.75 on the right D slot, as well as Rye Buds and X Thunder as well. Knowing last year's Rye Buddha, I played center for Thunder last year for most of the season. Did a bang up job for us, returning to D, going at 2.5 million on a 2-season contract as well.
Yeah, for sure. And we know the Huskies pretty strong last season, hoping to repeat and get a little further than they did. They made it all the way to the, I believe, the semifinals for the Mem Cup rather. So
Yes.
best of luck to them. And moving on here, we got the St. John's Sea Dogs. We got a really rough season. Caps rule at the helm again. Hopefully he can turn it around, bring in Imperial Blaze 94 as a center, as his GM. Picking up some players here, not spending a crazy amount of money on one particular player. The highest cap hit they went after was their right D amateur Dynasty 1989 at 3.75.
Not far behind with Spaced.
Yeah, Spaced is sitting at 3, and you got Bounding Moose, another solid guy at 2 mil. So they got some pieces, but a lot of 500 guys rather, sorry, that I'm not really recognizing here too much. So I can't talk too much about this team. Is there anyone on here? Oh, BB the Great. How did I miss him? BB the
BB the
Great.
Great, I'd say, yeah, you can't miss that guy. Come on.
Yeah, another former manager coming in and playing out of position, I believe, on lefty at 750K. So a good pickup there, and hopefully he can help them out a little bit.
Matt Disney as a goalie 1 million is actually a smart pickup. He's a strong goaltender.
Okay.
But I'll move on from that, buddy. I got nothing else for you there. So let's move on to Shawinigan. The Shawinigan lady's been missing in EA for quite a while now. So maybe she's moved on to bigger and better worlds. I don't know. Ex-Empire come back here as owner with La Mocha Illa 8 is GM.
Mm-hmm.
Picking up Gets Busy at right wing at 2 million. Hockey 789 at 2.5 million. And Liz for Hockey at 3.25. I think it's a bit of an overpay on Liz for Hockey, but we'll see. Maybe I'll put foot in mouth today. Maybe Hockey will show me I'm an idiot.
Yeah. Well, sorry, I want to circle back here for a second. Gets Busy. It's really funny. I knew he was the GM for the Royals for the longest time, and I didn't realize the account I've always played with him on.
Yeah.
He's like RH17 and a bunch of numbers, right? I didn't realize they were the same person. So he actually brought me into LG somewhat. He was in the same group of guys that actually brought me into LG, and I didn't realize until like 3 weeks ago. Like I was like, oh wait, really? It's been like 4 seasons, and it took me that long to figure it out. I'm a smart guy.
So what you're saying is he knows how to find them scrubs.
Yes, he's very good at finding shitty D-men. Yeah. Hey, I'm just saying through preseason, guys, 2.5 points per game. Elite. No, I'm just fucking around. But no, I mean the guys look pretty solid so far. Picking up some guys that were not really given too many chances on TC there, like yeah Banana for the win. Maybe he learned some stuff and got a little better, and they're kind of getting him at a cheap contract now.
Definitely. Go look at the defense there. I don't know many of the names like this. Hot Plucket Handy 2 million. They got Jay Carney 17 2.5 and Sugarcoats at 2 million. Not a lot I know about them, but I mean maybe some smart pickups.
Yeah, could be. And Edible Brownies actually getting picked up there at 500K. I was kind of a surprise steal there.
So definitely. Yeah, for sure. But that's all I got for us there, buddy. When it moves on to the Sherbrooke Phoenix.
Sherbrooke Phoenix, and I think this team's become the punching bag in the managers chat for the most part. Godly John being the owner here, coming in with T Busy, who helped run the Armada last season, who didn't have the greatest run. Godly John was the AGM of
Oil Kings.
Oil Kings, thank you. Yes. And a really solid goalie. So we'll see what they can do this season. Looking at some of their bids, highest paid guy there is a tie between Vizer, a left wing prospect at 4.25 mil, and Durno 10-17 at the same price, also a prospect. They picked up you tackle fat kids, pretty decent player. They looking to be building around the idea of depth
It
as
looks
opposed.
like. I mean, Swag Shot the center at 2.25 is actually a good price for him.
Yeah,
He's,
I
he's,
think that's
he's,
a fair
he's
price.
been yeah, he's been known around the league for quite a while in the AHL and CHL levels. So definitely a good price for him.
Yeah, I think we had him season 7, season 8.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. But yeah, that's about all I have for Sherbrooke.
Yeah, me too. Let's move on here. Going to the Valdor Foyers. St. Louis 420 Goon coming in as owner, taking in Sabres Hockey 716 as the GM again. Another team with no AGM tag, again, no rush. Not a big deal. Moving forward on that, though, they have Mr. Peppa 777 coming in as goaltender. Smart pickup of 500K, a goaltender for them. Chris, a whole bunch of numbers and right D, 3 million. Another smart pickup there. Evil Doink at left D. I don't know a lot about, but they paid 2 million for him, so maybe they know something about him that we don't know. Right wing coming in, there's a biggest pickup is Blunt's 1488, a 5.25 million. Another name I don't recognize at all. I do recognize one name, like I say, though, is Batcon. These guys taking over that bid war with us a little bit, taking 1.75. It was probably a solid pickup and a guy to watch, in my opinion, this season.
Hmm.
Besides that, there's Batherson, sorry.
Yeah,
3.25 at center, as well as O2 Phoenix at center as well, 3 million.
yeah, for sure. And a little shout out to Peppa. He was my D-man season 9. Really great guy and a better goalie. So
Didn't
getting him
you
at
lose in the
500K.
season 9, like call up?
He was a call up as a D-man, yeah, and he's
And then
honestly
if I recall, you got swept by the Thunder.
ha 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 ha. You can't beat him, Jordan, I guess, right? But no, Peppa's actually a much better goalie than he is a D-man. So I mean, that's a good pickup of 500K. That would be a good AGM tag, guys. Hint, hint, wink, wink.
Yeah,
Um,
right. Hint, hint, wink, wink. Yeah,
yeah,
I move on, buddy, to the Tigers.
Yeah, Tigers. So another vanity swap here. Dead Starks coming over from the ECHL. Fort Wayne Comets didn't have any really bad seasons, but didn't have anything stellar. Looking to change his fortunes, get a new look, a fresh start. And coming along with him is Eddie Drag, his GM from last season, and taking Chai down to greatness at 3.5 million, a veteran, as his AGM. Looking at his big spend here, we got Jay Rick, 7.5 mil. Everyone kind of expected him to be expensive. He's a very solid player, and it's about what he needed to go for people to justify letting him
Definitely.
go. Outside of that, out my lane on left wing, other amateur, $3 million, 2.75 for Vincent Vale on right wing, another veteran, and another team that really doesn't have a whole lot of prospects. I think 4 in total.
Yeah, yeah,
So
exactly. I mean,
that's
Granny is a
decent.
great return for them at 1.25. It's very, very smart center. Very good pickup. And they got Mayers to come back again in a 500K deal. Everyone slept on Mayers again this season and lock him in 2 years again.
Yeah, how did I miss on that? Oh my god.
I don't know. I didn't either.
Oh,
When I look at
yeah.
that now, I thought he was returning actually. Now I look at it, he actually
Yeah, oh
resigned this
my.
season.
We
So
we gotta like flog ourselves or something for missing all these guys, man.
yeah,
Sleeping
yeah,
out
we
here.
do. Yeah, we do. Yep, yep.
But moving on to sorry, before we move on, I should say.
Before we move on, we got prediction time.
Yeah, so I'm gonna kick
This
this one
time you
off
started out again. Chat box people, you want to put your picks out there for this league? Go right ahead.
for the QMJHL. Yeah, so my prediction, I'm gonna give it to my boy One Eye. I think the Remparts are going to take it top dog here. I think there's some better offensive teams, but they look like the most well-rounded team.
Okay, okay. I'm going to say that the Screaming Eagles. They have the offensive power. I think they're going to put up 6 to 7 goals a game. My only hesitant factor in picking them is the defense strong enough?
Hmm.
Can
And
they outscore more than they let in?
well,
And I
that's sort of
think
what
they're
they did
going
last
to.
season, right?
Exactly. So I think they're going to be the team to step forward in this league and come out on top.
All right, all right, all right. All right, moving on. We got the Allen Americans here, and owner Zeus Wick returning with Who's Stiffer as his GM. Zeus has been around for God knows how long.
Yeah.
And didn't have the
Great
strongest
guy,
season.
too.
Finished I think just squeaking into the playoffs in the ECHL, but did give the Oilers a pretty tough time.
They did. They took them to 6 or 7, didn't they?
Yeah, 6.
6? Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, no, really good, good battle back there by him, and bringing in some guys here. His biggest payday was B Felt 7 at 4.5 million on forward, and then Bork Dog 187 on D for 5.25, who I believe was on their team last season, so he really paid that tax.
Yes.
And Ryan Bosa as his backup at 500K is not a bad decision. You got Xyama at 500K, another guy who was TC, maybe being given a chance to prove to prove what he's got. F. Willis, a left winger, I had him seasons ago. Really good guy.
Guy has a party presence, though.
100% he is. Yeah, it could be a good guy to have around. So hopefully he can help them out. But Ben 2.0, another returnee for him at 1.75 million in a prospect. Not a terrible pickup. Outside of that, not seeing too much.
No, definitely not. I'm looking for Zeus to, come out and talk and be a little stronger this year. He's had 2 seasons where he's just made that deadline playoffs in the last week. So hopefully this year he's not stuck in that spot. Come on, Zeus, you got this, buddy.
Yeah, I believe in you. I believe in you, just not against us.
Right. Coming in here, we got the Atlanta Gladiators. We have
Don Sens.
Don Sense, thank you. As the owner, with Fog Devil coming in as GM. A little brain fart there, guys. Sorry. Picking up a returning owner, I believe, for the Gladiators at Death's RH at 2.5 million playing goaltender. I believe he was the owner here last year. Don't just yell at me. Taking up also Patrick's on Fire, 2.5 million.
Don Sens was not the owner last season, though.
No, Death's RH was he not?
Yes, he was. Sorry, yes.
Yes, it said picking up the old owner.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, picking up the old owner, Death's RH, right? Yeah. Trider 17 at 3.75 at center, as long as Big Dale 95 at 3.25 on right wing. Not both prospects. Sorry, I almost lied to myself there. Big Dale is a prospect. Don't know nothing about the guy. Not sure, but hopefully that price tag he lives up to it. I think they will. I think he will. Fogg knows his stuff.
Yeah.
Joel Shue coming in at 2 million, another good pickup for defense as well, in my opinion.
Yeah, assuming his work schedule is back to normal.
Right, exactly. And then Leonard Skinner, 1.25 as well on a 2-season contract, another good pickup as well.
Yeah, for sure. And best of luck to the Gladiators. Moving on here.
There is one more that I want to call up. It might be like the sleeper or steal for them. Is Mavericks USA 85. I've heard a lot about the guy. I haven't seen him play, but he could be that sneaker steal 500K.
Okay. I like it. But moving on to the Cincinnati Cyclones, we got Tay Poner coming in for his second season of ownership, taking on Z Brew, formerly known as Brewskis, and Hockey Brady as the AGM at right wing amateur, $2.5 million contract. Big spends for him. Nizzle Neal on center, $5 million. That's probably a pretty good pickup. But the rest of it pretty much came at defense, where he spent his big money, which was Happy 77D. He seemed to like to pick on the ECHL guys he played against. Happy 77D being for the Fuel last season at 5 mil. Picking up Maniac on crack, who was a wing for a little bit, 2.25 mil. Goldblum, a wing for the full season at 1.75. So he's kind of looking, with an outrospective there of who did I play last season? Who did I hate playing against as a D-man? And I guess he decided those were the guys he liked. So hopefully they're good pickups for him. Good luck to Zeph and Maniac. I brought them into the league, and I'd like to see them succeed. Just again, not against me.
Crush them, boys. Only when he's playing, though, eh?
yeah, exactly. V-Ray 19 at a veteran goalie, 500K.
Been in forever.
2-season. Been around forever. And a pretty decent goalie. They seem to have a decent team here. See what they can't do this season, and we'll see how many quotes Tape Owner gives us for the magazine this season.
Definitely. I'll always look forward to his quotes.
Yeah, for sure.
Moving on to Fort Wayne comments here, we have Essens fan as owner taking on Sinks Master as GM and locking Shoe Tempo as AGM. Shoe Tempo was with Andrew last season in the Huskies.
Yeah.
I think for a couple of seasons he did a bang-up job there. Coming over here doing the same thing here as AGM, trying to help these guys build this team to a strong contender. Looking forward to playing them this season. The biggest pickups here is Bo Sandia Diamond, $3.5 million.
Awesome.
Thank you. Poop Worms, bit lefty. That guy's got to go see a doctor, apparently.
Yeah.
The Elder Jew at right D, $2.75 million. Snozberries at 3.5 as well at center. Another good buddy of mine. I helped bring this guy into the league, and hopefully he can this year over there. Good job. Go do it, Snoz. Tear it up.
One guy I want to point out here is
Decent.
Beer and Pickles at
Beer and
2.25.
pickles.
Maybe an
Yes.
overpayment, but you know what? From what I've heard, nothing but a good guy, and took over for this um, Thunderbirds after like the third owner quit or something.
He
Um,
did. He did.
and stuck with it and powered through and got them through the rest of that season. So good on him for that, and best of luck to him.
Another good pickup for them defense is Ian McGill in 89. Usually a forward onto D this year, but definitely this guy is creative with the puck. He's smart with the puck. Be careful of him. And defacing, following a net for himself at 500K is probably a smart pickup.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on, though, bud. What do you got for the
Yeah,
Rabbits
we
for
got
us?
the Greenville Swamp Rabbits, and we got returning guys here with O'Brien and a bunch of numbers. It's the owner and Dirty Garden Girl as the GM, both still prospects. They had cut their teeth with the first season last season. Started out a little
Yeah,
bit
and
weak.
they were fresh bloods his own, like literally 2 3
Like
games played
16, yeah, it was
each.
16 games combined, but yeah,
Yeah, they were fresh bloods, and they it showed in the first 3 weeks that they were fresh, and
they're
the
learning,
way they
and
turned
they turned it
they
around.
learned and learned quickly and turned the team around. So I'm looking for them to pick up where they left off last season.
For sure, and picking up some interesting guys here. Paying Scherer 23 mil, who I believe has been expensive in his career before. Pretty solid shutdown lefty. Noteworthy. We haven't talked about this too much, but the discrepancy with five lefties and one righty.
Right? Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, hopefully that a lot of them play dual
Both
sides, right?
sides, yeah. That's definitely the hope. Picking up
Yep,
Bob
definitely.
Gretzky on United at center is a decent idea.
Very smart choice, especially 500K.
Yeah, it is, and a former GM for the Moosehead last season, I believe.
I believe so.
Picking up a really solid player in CG Click QC, left wing
Yeah,
prospect
yeah.
at two.
Again, O'Brien, get off my candy.
Yeah, come on, guys. Like, let us have who we want for 500K. Come on. J Claw's 500K confirmed. No, but
Right?
Ace G17 PGH coming on left wing at 1.5 mils, pretty solid player. Kenny at 2.5. This team looks pretty decent. I don't think they're going to be dominant, but I think they're going to start off stronger and maintain better than they did last season.
Definitely, definitely, for sure, for sure. Rooting for you. I love the Rabbits, love their jerseys. I definitely want them one day, but probably not going to happen.
Yeah.
Moving on to the Idaho Steelheads here, we have B Gaming World YT as owner taking on Sad Tech Zero is GM, both goaltenders locked in there, and Val Claren is AGM playing right D. He's normally a goalie, so to see him at D actually kind of throws me off a little bit there.
Mm-hmm.
Never seen him play D, but I'm assuming he's obviously done it really well to get the AGM take and a 2 million on a 2 season.
Yeah, 2 season. Yeah, so he must have something we're not seeing here.
That's right, definitely. So I must have slept on. So
Yeah.
looking at that though, they have Wise the Booze gone at left wing at 3 million. I played this guy a couple times. This was like back a while ago, so I don't see 3 million there. But again, maybe he's improved. Maybe I'm just an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
If I am, yell at me somebody. It's all right. Prove me wrong. I tried on wax at 1.5. Definitely a steal playing center. Our defense for the Wheat Kings last year, moving to center, definitely a smart choice and get pick up.
Yeah, for sure. And looking at Canadian Bacon X1, thankfully got a smaller contract than his 5 mil last season. At 750, a little bit more manageable for him. Expectations are a little bit lower. He can kind of work on just focusing on his game. Picking up and one thing I want to note is the amount of guys they picked up at 750.
Right? Yeah.
It's strange to see that many. Maybe blind bids where people really didn't want them for more than 500K. I don't know what happens there where you get a guy at 750 because I generally get them at 500, a million, like,
Right? Not too often at 750. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not usually where I see it, but you got Bradley Man, former goalie at right D there, and Monkey Girl, brand new to the league and was pretty active in the the forums and that sort of idea. So got their name out there, and but yeah, either way, good luck to them and some big shoes to fill with the Idaho Steelheads having gone to face off against the Brandon Wheat Kings last season to get to the Mem Cup
For the
final.
Mem Semis, right? Definitely. I want to call Bravo Bull 14 as well. The veteran there, 2.5, probably a good strong pickup as well. And I will make one shout out to left wing. Why is the booze gone? Because you're in the ECHL now, and that booze is mine. All right.
Yeah, for sure. But moving on to our next team is the One and Muse back again. Bringing in
Right.
Brand Flakes as their AGM at 500K at center. And they picked up some familiar faces here. We see Frank
Servants by buddy of mine there.
at 5 mil.
Definitely a good pickup.
Yeah, for sure. Got Ono Durret back at 5. Oh, sorry, he's a returning contract. My apologies.
Returning, yes.
A Kissel's returning as well. Frankie's a guy I believe who played for them or the Mavericks. I could be mistaken there. But
I think the Mavericks.
yeah, maybe. But yeah, keeping them close to the ECHL there. Rob 95 at veteran at 1.75. Abused Altar Boy, formerly known as Church Boy, sitting on 3.75 mil as a right D. Pretty good pickup for him. Hands on
Hands
wood.
on wood.
Yeah,
And the returnee as well. I believe they definitely paid. Oh, he's a returnee. I'd say yes. They
yep.
didn't pay anything with
Returning. Yep.
returnee. Yeah.
Yep.
The one guy I think they might have got a steal on is BDB Teller 86. During bidding, he came onto our stream and was talking about how he's elite, he's this, he's that, and they picked him up. And I've done some talking with the one about him and how is he in the end. How he loves him. He says he's probably the best D guy he's picked up.
Hmm.
So
Maybe maybe
I'm
this
really
is true, or maybe this is trade bait. We'll see.
I'm definitely going to keep keeping an eye on him. I mean, it could be trade bait, but he's pretty much a straight up stand up guy. The one he does tell the truth, so I'm going to take his word on it. So I'm going to be watching that guy all year. The one I'm going to be watching him. And remember, Morpheus gave you the wrong pill.
But yeah, moving on here, we got the Jacksonville Icemen.
Yes, with Duff R. Mick coming in as owner, taking that vanity swap, coming off the Titans, moving into the ECHL. Welcome to the league, buddy. We're here. You're here. We're here. We're here to show what ECHL is all about. We're not the easiest league there is. You're about to find out. Got my grade 9 as a GM. I don't know how I know this guy on my friends list too. I can't figure out what his name used to be, but I know him apparently. I'm a beast here, not coming in for them. And right wing, he's been around for quite a while. Only 500K in him could be a good, smart pickup. Bergeron X Snipe, 3.25 million at center. Prospect guy, don't know much about him. I'm assuming probably a smart pickup for them because then they spent 3 million on him as a prospect. Old Tokes, 4.5 million on him. That I think is a good pickup for a defender. He's definitely strong and well known in defense, so a good pickup for 5 million. And Bubin 77 again, 3.25 million. Another good pickup, I believe, at defense, anyways.
Yeah, and paying a little bit big on the goaltender down there, Gally QC, veteran status 2.5 mil. Maybe he gets the AGM tag to avoid the call up, but I mean, another guy with Duff who's pretty much prioritized amateurs and veterans.
Definitely. By the way, Aardvark.
Yep. So yeah, it's should be an interesting season for him, and best of luck. I mean, didn't have the strongest go of it on the Titans. Hopefully, he can be a little stronger with the Icemen and take over for Chernobyl and show him how it's done. But moving on here, we got the Kalamazoo Wings, my former team, now run by Earl the Goat, the man who won gold medal with me in World Juniors. Kind of nice to see it come full circle, bringing in his GM Ravens 9190 at left D.
I got one thing to say to Earl the Goat.
All right.
Just make sure when you face the Thunder in the playoffs, you don't get swept by somebody else I know.
Yeah. You got to get there first. You know what? I'm throwing the game. I'm like, Wings win. Wings win. Got to win somehow, right? That's the plan all along. Me and Earl are in cahoots. But no, in all seriousness, I mean, he's got some returning contracts. One returning contract, I should say, with Nutty Outlaw, who I left him, and you're welcome for that. He's a really solid winger and a good guy to have, but definitely a call-up risk as a veteran status. Scotty Moe, 26, an amateur at 2.25 million is pretty solid. JTE Nick, right winger, 3 mil, another really solid guy. Merch, 16-20, 4 mil, good player.
Good pick up a center.
Yeah, and Roller Pig, 1 mil is actually a really, really good get. I don't know if a lot of people know who that is, but he's a very good goalie.
He's been known as a skater for most of his LG career, and we actually randomly met him in a drop-in game, and we're like, oh, I know this name. Why? And I started doing some research, and yeah, but he did amazing in that week.
Yeah, so I think,
and then he took him to clubs and did a really good job as well. So
yeah, for sure. So I mean, congrats on getting him. He's a good pickup, but he could be a good AGM tag as well.
Exactly.
So yeah, no, I mean, I think the Wings are gonna be a decent team this season. So best of luck to them, and make me proud. Keep my streak of strong Kalamazoo Wings teams coming.
Right, exactly. Moving on, we got the Mavericks coming here with Rash Colton taking over after they departed. Who was your last? Jack's dog is now gone.
Yes, Fozzie Bear.
Yeah, Fozzie Bear. Yeah. Taking up Frank and Bean 776 as GM as well. Some big pickups for him and notable mentions for him was Hawkeye 1403 at 3.25 million, and Iron City 87 at 3.25 million as well. A couple of guys have been around for a fair amount of time and know their stuff. So some big pickups there for them. Cookie as well coming in here at 2 million. That's what all I got. Sergeant Vandals at 500K for a goaltender could be a huge pickup
Brock
as well.
QC's a returning player, but another good player to have on a team.
Yes.
Jimbo Slice 19 maybe could be decent. General Lehigh just got them in a trade. RBZ tailor made. Not the two strongest D-men, but hopefully they can pick it up a little bit this season and help the Mavericks push for some competitiveness.
Definitely. I was move on to the Oilers Solo Bears with that big contract.
Yeah, so we got E. Jansen coming in, returning after spending a season in the AHL, bringing in Blitzberg, who was in the AHL as well. They're taking over the Solar Bears after running the Cyclone Season 9 and having that killer line of like Sir Gab and Ginger and all those guys. And his big spend here is Canadians 27, center prospect 8 mil. No one was too surprised to see him go that high. He's one of those top guys. So yeah, I mean he had to
Yeah,
pay to get him, but he's very solid. Getting Lazy at 2.5 mil is an interesting pickup. Doc Jiggy, former wing, at 500K, a decent center. War Chief Grim on that 2-season returning contract could be a bit of a sleeper pick. Getting Harbeck right D for 2 million. Not really a bad choice. And getting Odux as a goalie for 500K, that's a big get. So
definitely.
him and E Jansen are going to be pretty solid back there. So the Solar Bears should be a pretty strong team this season.
They should be. They should be. And by the way, Aardvark.
Yep.
But while doing that, moving on to the Rapid City Rush, we have Tank for Eichel and Folder Pizza coming in is Eichel, whatever you want to call it. Owner
Jack
and
Eichel,
GM.
yeah, whatever.
Yeah, right. Afflicted Duality is AGM coming at 3 million here. Probably a smart lock being he's an amateur, so a smart lock there for them. Picking up Bry Fry at lefty at 4 million is a huge pickup. The guy's a hell of a defender.
He is.
Jobo Cup at right D for 2 million. Another strong defender coming out for them there. Marsh 14-17, a veteran's been up for a while. Another smart pickup there, 3.75 million. Those are my notables for them. Do you see anyone else I might be missing out?
Did you mention Caniff?
Mm-mm.
Caniff
I
20,
slept on that one.
really solid goalie last season for the Mavericks, backing up Tangelis. 2.75 is a little steep, but he's a really solid goalie, so we'll see. Pastor Castor could be a decent pickup at 1.25, and the McVix at 500K is probably a steal, to be honest. He runs in the same crowd as Shory Season and Damien himself. I believe they're all buddies. They're a pretty good trio there.
Definitely. Let's move on, buddy, to the
Yeah.
South Carolina
South
Stingrays.
Carolina Stingrays, run by It's Your Boy Blue, Ditka Butkus, and Duge Fucked You Up, who is a $3.75 million prospect, so they definitely paid to have their AGM with them. They got Apajuice on a returning contract. They got Next Skizzy at 3.75, Dumoulin at 3 mil, right wing prospect. Supposed to be the best player around, if you ask them. Then Hellraiser on right D at 3.25. They picked up some big name guys here. CJ Wagon, 2.25 mil, and Big Whiskey 1 and DT Fate net for them. I could see these guys being decent.
Definitely. I think they're going to have a good little run for themselves going on here. They're not going to be bottom feeders. They're not going to be top of the pack either. So I think they're going to be decent with that middle of the pack run.
Yeah, I agree.
Moving on to the Toledo Walleye, we have Rona coming back as owner with Shroom Soldier coming in as GM, playing the goalie slot, and Rona playing the left D slot. Notables for them coming out here, in my mind, is going to be Shory Season at 2 million. Great pickup for that price. Let's see what else they got here. They got Razcool at 2.75. Guys been around forever. Great party present, as well as they got my boy Diamond there at 2.5 million. Heck of a D man. Surprised he wasn't drafted actually, but he played center last season. This year to get drafted playing D was actually better suited. We'll wait and find out. And Vulgar Gentleman coming in at goaltender at 2.25 million as well. Another good pickup.
Yeah, and BB Gun coming back with them on a 2-season contract. No longer a dog. Maybe he can focus on his game a little better now. See how it goes.
Definitely. And moving over now, back to the Oilers.
Yeah, we got Flesh Eating Alien coming in here.
We mentioned him a little bit earlier with the Debut trade.
Yeah, we talked about this a little bit. So we got Flesh Eating Alien coming with Pareko 55 as the GM, and like Dreams just said, they had a big trade come through, $4 million prospect, D Boot going one way to the Oilers, and tossing out J.R. Penn's the other way. I believe there was more pieces involved, but this is the kind
There
of the
was, yeah.
this is
But
kind of
those
the
are two
gist
big
of the
notables.
big names in the trade, right?
Yeah.
Coming in, they got Sniper with a bunch of numbers as their prospect goalie, 500K, and Wazarino also 500K. They subscribe to the same rule as Streams, I assume. Um,
Right?
3.5 mil for Dirty Fetus on right D. Pretty solid defenseman, even if his name's a little bit unsavory. They took a chance on Eagle 420, who I believe was chirping a lot, saying he's the best D-man in the league. So he's got to step up now.
This is time to
I'll be
shine,
watching to see
right?
what you're
Time to
doing, bud.
shine. They also got nonsense there at $5 million prospect there.
Yep, that's a big spend, but he's a pretty good player, and Pookie QC 87 is a decent winger for 500K.
Definitely. And I'm God's Jesus at 3.5.
Yes, yes,
Just some notables, right? Some
yeah,
notables,
for sure.
especially contract wise. But let's move on from there. Best luck to you guys. I've known him forever, Flesh. So, I mean, best luck to you, buddy. Hope you have another good season. You've had 2 playoff runs so far, so keep it running, buddy. Moving into the Utah Grizzlies here, we have Jevax and NL Show, also with a bandy swap coming into the ECHL now, coming in with a big pickup and a very smart one right away, as I can mention, is Dom P123, $3.25 million pickup there. They also got John Shadow 12, lefty veteran at $4 million, and Kos Doa at $3 million as well at lefty.
Mm-hmm.
TK Dross is known to be a winger, but they got a goaltender for K this year, so maybe he's actually a stellar goaltender as well. Time will tell. They also got returning for themselves as QC.
Yeah, yeah. So it should be interesting.
Definitely, definitely.
Shout out to the guy in the chat there saying his power's out in Dallas, so he's just enjoying watching watching our little stream here. So glad to
Yeah,
hear.
I'm glad
I'm
he
glad
got
to hear we
those.
can keep you from being completely bored.
Right, exactly.
Just don't burn through all your data. It's a long show. Coming into our next team is the Wheeling Nailers. Kyle LBH, the owner, the GM. I like chocolate milk. As the GM left wing prospect. They don't really have any huge spends here. It's a tie between a couple guys. 3.5 for Kachuk 07, formerly a forward, I believe, switching back to defense. Power of prop on lefty at 3 mil. Merce at 3.5, lefty prospect. 3.25 for Snipe King, amateur, on the right wing slot. And Gaudet 9, former player for you, I believe, right?
He was in season 9. We got him at trade deadline and came on to help us see a strong player for the season.
Yeah, for sure. That's 2.75 as an amateur, and B Hop, a guy who won the gold medal with me there in Sweden as well. A good kid and a decent player.
But Dr. Oz is pickup 1.5 is probably a good choice. I had him back in season 3 on my TC. He probably should have been roster, but I didn't make the move ever.
yeah, for sure. Looking at our last team here, though.
This debacle of a shitter team right here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if I'm gonna get a win. Like, let's be honest here. I mean, it's hard to talk about our own team before we would let each other do it, but now we're on the same team. So, I mean, Dreams and I running the Wichita Thunder, paying some big money for Darlene, paying that player tax for bench. We all kind of knew about that.
We got lucky with one player tax we didn't pay at all on God of War. We had him last year as a TC, and he worked his butt off to make my roster, our roster now, last season, and we got him back at the same value as a TC value, 500K. So people slept on him.
Yeah, for sure, and happy to get Yobkov back at 1.5 mil, switching from center to D. I mean, I'm not going to give too much of a prediction about us. We are who we are, guys. We'll see what happens.
Our big spend, obviously, besides Dolan, is Mugford. Everyone was on Mugford leaving bidding. Yep. Everyone kind of knows who he is. So let that be what it is.
Yeah, see how it goes for us. But yeah, for sure. With that being said, that is the entirety of the ECHL, the entirety of the CHL. Before we close this out, let's give our last little predictions. Dreams, who do you think is going to be the top dog in the ECHL?
ECHL top dogs, top dogs. I had this picked up earlier. I forget what I said in long.
It was that impressive. It was so impressive you forgot it, guys. All right, well, I'll kick it off.
You go ahead and kick it off.
Yeah, I'll kick it off. You think for a second. So
I know what it is now. Yeah, okay. I got it.
So
All right.
I always want to say my own team, right? But we're not gonna go down that road. I'm gonna pick someone else, and I think it's gonna be Flesh's Oilers. I think they're
Flesh eating aliens Oilers, right?
yeah, I think they're gonna be a really solid team. Was that your pick?
No,
Oh,
no, that
okay,
was
good.
not my
I
pick.
just had a look on your face, and I'm like, oh, I
No,
just stole this team.
no. Just surprised you call Flesh like that. That's some pressure for you, Flesh. Some pressure for you.
Hey,
I'm
buddy.
gonna call it your old the Wings. Actually, in preseason they went 7-1-0,
Oh,
showing that dominant force in preseason alone, putting up 14 points for themselves on 8 games, showing they can still bring those wins out and pick up those wins. So I'm going to pick them. If they can be as strong as they are in the preseason as they are in the regular season, they're going to be a team to watch out for. And
yeah, I
looking for
agree.
a
And I
season
mean,
9
I'd be
Thunder
definitely
Wings repeat.
yeah. I mean, it'd be nice to see. I mean, I'm hoping Earl can do me proud and keep those wings strong and proud. But we'll see how they do. And yeah, that pretty much concludes our post bidding wrap up, guys. Hockey about to start in about 2.5 hours here.
We do got one small thing to go through quickly.
The power rankings.
Team power ranking.
You want to do that still? Okay, we're at two
Yeah,
hours. Okay.
I know. Let's fly through. We're just going to do top 10 guys here of everything. I'll bust it out when we get to dark. Coming in for the team power rankings, number 1 this season is South Carolina Stingrays. Coming in number 1 is the Opal team. Number 2 is Tri-City Americans. Number 3 is Cape Breton Screaming Eagles. Number 4 is the Prince Albert Raiders. Number 5 is the Quebec Ramparts. Number 6 is the Victoriaville Tigers. Number 7 is Indy Fuel. Number 8 is Blainville Borsabedena Armada. Number 9 is Victoria Royals. Number 10 is the Huskies. So
Yeah.
congrats to you top 10 rated teams. You want to brush this down to the top 10 forwards, buddy?
Yep. Little shout out, Thunder 12. What? Moving on to the forwards list, we got number 1 Cape Breton, number 2 the Stingrays, number 3 Americans, Tri-City that is, Indy Fuel number 4, Cincinnati Cyclones number 5, Oshawa Generals number 6, Victoria Royals number 7, number 8 we got Moncton Wildcats, number 9 we got Victoriaville Tigers rather, and number 10 Blainville Armada. Yeah, I can't do it either.
Yeah.
I was trying to show you up and I couldn't even do it. All right, defense.
Yeah, I was trying. All right, coming deep in our top 10, we have the Sags coming in number 1, Ice Dogs coming in number 2, Idaho Steelheads coming in number 3, Victoria Royals number 4, Vancouver Giants number 5, Lona Syllabus number 6, Gatineau at number 7, London Knights number 8, Wichita Thunder number 9, woohoo! And number 10 is North Bay Battalion.
Yeah, for sure. And then for the goalie section here, number 1 we got the Medicine Hat Tigers. Number 2 Erie Otters, no surprise there. Number 3 we got Rwanda Huskies. Number 4 we got Sarnia Sting. Number 5 Wichita. Woo! Number 6 we got Oshawa Generals. Number 7 we got Victoriaville Tigers. Number 8 we got Kelowna Rockets. Number 9 we got Prince Albert Raiders. And last but not least, South Carolina Stingrays with the number 10. Do we want to do the top 10 forwards and defense?
We'll do that right now. Yeah, we'll bust out coming in top 10 forwards.
Yeah.
This is single players, not just team ratings here. So
this is based off their average PR. So like some of these guys might be out of position and it's kind of throwing things off. So keep that in mind.
Let's keep that in mind, definitely. Coming in number 1 is Oracle Rampage for the Screaming Eagles. Number 2 is Shooting Scores for the Victoria Royals. Number 3 is Lee Homie Josh from the past. Number 4 is Dr. Teabag for the Spirit. Number 5 is Marcus for the Tigers. Number 6 is a Big Dumb Foot for the Islanders. Number 7 is Trudeau 28 for the North Bay Battalion. Number 8 is Buck Daddy for the Americans. Number 9 is Ditka Buckets for the Sting. And number 10 is Drew Jacks for the
Yeah, for sure. And just to clarify, Marquis is on the Moncton Wildcats.
Moncton. Oh, yeah, my bad.
Good,
Wildcats, yeah.
For the top 10 defenders, we got Mr. Morgan on the Prince George Cougars coming in at number 1. Cooked Megatoast is number 2 on this list for the Vancouver Giants. Number 3, we got Tangelus of the Saguenayens, and I'm imagining that's based off of his goalie stats. Not that he's a bad defenseman, but number 3 in the league seems a little high. Big Save Nabokov for the Kingston Frontenacs is number 4. Number 5, we got GZ501 for the Ice Dogs. Number 6, we got Stokes X13 on the Solar Bears. Number 7, we got Herndog for Victoria Royals. Number 8, we got Titans 3393 for the Sags. Number 9, we got Digiman for the Broncos. And number 10, the Titans MAP3.
Definitely. And coming last category, then we're done, is top 10 for the goaltenders. Coming in number 1 is DFA Loons 11 for the Huskies. Skies EOS for the Blazers. Number 3 is Mel Palan XOXO for the Rockets. Number 4 is Mayors for the Victoriaville Tigers. Number 5 is Jayway 817 for the Winterhawks. Number 6 is Flamin 71 for the Sting. Number 7 is Yato Perovius. I can't speak French, so sorry guys, for the Oshawa Generals. Number 8 is Left Bench for the Thunder. Number 9 is Penn State for Life for the Raiders, and number 10 is Rosta for the Valdor.
For sure. But thanks to everyone for tuning in. It was a bit of a longer one. Catch us again at 4 p.m. Sunday next week. We'll be doing live broadcasts throughout the season as well. So tune in, Choirs and Cups. Follow us, like us, whatever you got to do to keep in the loop there. If you're looking for the AHL coverage, they are weekly on Saturdays, and they're probably doing some live coverage themselves. So check out Eastbound and Shell for that. So thanks so much for everyone for tuning in. Thank you, Dreams,
Yes, thank you
for helping me and coming with me on for the shows weekly. And yeah, let's have a good season 11. Let's get it
Let's
going.
do it, guys. Puck drops a couple hours. Go get it.